Morning guys, just doing my last sort of couple of little checks here. But yeah, I think I've got everything going. I think I've got the sound going, which is obviously the main thing. So you guys should be able to hear me. Yeah, if we do the usual sort of little check, if you can just sort of put a thumbs up or say, yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I think I'm pretty much good to go. Just trying to sort my music out. Just because obviously I like to have some music. Alright, morning guys. Yeah, so hopefully you can hear me. According to my screen, the bar's moving up and down, which generally indicates it can hear my voice. Yeah, morning. So yeah, so guys, let me know in the comments you can hear me, just in case I rabbit on, and then all of a sudden realise that something didn't work and you haven't been listening to me at all. All good. Cheers, Steve. Thanks a lot for that, mate. So yeah, Alan Forbes is at work. God, he's always working now, Alan. Got Lazarus, Steve, obviously, Jacob. Morning. Yeah, so morning to everyone who's out there. There's obviously only a few of you at the moment. Obviously, that's because I've only just started. So yeah, I'm going to be... as much as I keep thinking I'm not going to do sprue videos anymore, then I do something, it goes well, I enjoy it, and then obviously I do another sprue video, which always seems to be the way of everything I kind of do. I do one video, and then I do the next few videos of the same sort of stuff, and then I do a different video completely after about 3 or 4. So yeah, so obviously the next few videos will be sort of sprue sort of based. Yeah, and obviously I've kind of I've kind of picked a rather large thing to build. What it was on one of my previous live streams, I think it was, someone left a comment, or it might be one of the videos, I can't really remember, just to say about the towel manta and how awesome it looks, and I should build one. So yeah, I went to have a little look, and well, it's a gorgeous looking thing, but obviously it's huge, and I've had a look at some pictures, and I've got some reference pictures, I've got some rough scales, sizes, and yeah, it won't actually fit on my desk as one unit. So I'm going to break it down to 3 parts. It's going to have the main body, and then a left wing and a right wing. And even them, they're like going to be taking up the whole of my desk. So yeah, this thing is going to be amazingly big. Oh yeah, Steve. Yeah, how is your dad? He's renal failure, temperature, and pneumonia. Oh bless. Oh well, hopefully you pull through soon, buddy. Yeah, all the best there, mate. Yeah, so sprues. Yeah, I'm going to be doing quite a few things with sprues. So the thing with that big build I'm doing is obviously it is a big build, and basically it's going to take me, I don't know, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I'm really not too sure. I've got a rough idea how I'm going to break it down and how I'm going to build it. But yeah, in regards to time, I'm not too sure. So obviously alongside building the big build, I'm going to do other little builds. Otherwise you won't see anything on this channel for about a month if I'm just sort of concentrating on that big build. So yes, I'm doing other stuff. Obviously one of the things I'm doing is the old Monster Bash from Trent Miscast. Obviously I love his channel, I love his stuff, and he does the Monster Bash every year. So taking part in that. So this session is going to be all about all sorts really. It's all going to do sprue related. But so I'm currently working on sort of 2 builds. One's going to be the Towel Manta, and one's going to be for the Monster Bash. And like I always say with these sprue builds, as much as I obviously love working with sprues, the problem is there's often gaps in between. When you do something, you have to leave it for it to like dry, cure, whatever you want to call it, before you can then do more to it. So that's why I'm going to be working on these 2 builds, and I've got other builds as well. So I've got a bit of all sorts going on. Just because obviously I like to sort of do 1 video a week. But yeah, so a couple of builds I've got are rather big. Yeah, Lazarus, the mantas are enormous. Yeah, I must admit, when I first saw them, oh yeah, they look really nice. And then I saw one, well, I saw someone holding one, and it was like, blimey, that's big. And then I'd say I printed out some pictures, just to obviously get the size of it. So I printed out some pictures. Obviously, I've got this again, trying to find sizes of things is so difficult. So I've got the rough size from wing to wing and nose to bum. So I've got those sizes on, and I've taken this into to Photoshop put a grid over the whole thing, made those sizes correct, so all the other sizes I can then sort of work from Photoshop and the grid that I've got over it. I say because it is just massive. It's basically it's 860 millimeters tip to tip. So yes, it won't fit on my desk in one, that's for sure. So I'm going to break it down and say I'm doing this like centre part. That's the bit I'm going to start on first, and then do the wings. But I'm going to make it so that in this centre part there's like a gap or a slot, so the wings can obviously, like, part of it can be slotted in. I may eventually have to glue the whole thing together, I'm not sure, but initially that's how I'm going to build it in 3 parts. I say each one of these parts is going to fill my desk completely. So yes, it will be like a final reveal of me actually, well, I don't know where I'm going to film me having the whole of this. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. So yeah, so I'm breaking it down to 3 parts. So I'm starting with the main body part. So I'm going to be building panels for this. And I'm going to explain what I'm doing, but I'm going to be building it a little bit different from how I've built other things. We'll get to what I've got on my desk in a minute. But obviously, my largest sort of sprue build to date, obviously, it's been nothing compared to this. But obviously, it's this guy, the old Orc Stomper. So this is obviously my biggest build so far with sprues. And obviously at the time, he felt quite big. And I found if I did actually do him on live streams. So I'm going to be live streaming pretty much most mornings, guys. Just because obviously I've got a lot to do with this. I've got a blocked up nose, so every now and then you will see me stop because I need to sneeze, or I think I'm going to sneeze. Yeah. So yeah, so with this guy, basically with anything I build with sprues, I make a framework. Even for obviously good old Burger. He's kind of hollow. There's a frame inside him. So yeah, there's a frame inside this dude. I don't know if we can still. No, I've kind of packed to the bottom as well. So there's a frame inside this. So the manta that I'm going to build is going to have a frame in it. But I'm going to do it a little bit differently to how I did this, because this, I did a frame, and then I covered it in panels. But obviously the panels were made of the like the sprue panels, so incredibly thin. Which for something like this is great because obviously it doesn't need to have a lot of strength support because the framework is the strength support. This is just like a thin skin that goes over it. But with this manta, because it's so big, if I did the framework like I did for this and then covered it in this, the chances are if you go to pick it up, it will just sort of buckle and bend and just go a bit pants. So what I'm going to do is, obviously you've seen some of my recent videos where I made panels using like the sprue as it is, and then filling the gaps in with the sprue goo. Obviously this is a lot thicker, a lot stronger, and definitely more support. So I'm going to be making a framework and then making panels this way and putting these on top. It's obviously going to increase the weight of this thing no end, but it means that when you do pick it up, it's not going to buckle, it's not going to bend. It'll just basically feel a lot more firmer and a lot more secure. So that's why, guys, I am now accepting more sprues. Obviously for the last, I don't know, 2-3 months or more, people have been messaging me at least every week or 2 times a week saying, I've got loads of sprues, do you want them? And I've been like, oh no, I'm fine, I've got 2 big boxes, I've got enough. Well, I've been obviously looking at the size of this, working out the scale, working out what I need to do, looking at the boxes of sprues I've got, and it's like, yeah, I'm going to need loads more. Because rather than sort of making thin panels, which obviously doesn't use a whole lot of sprue, I'm going to be making much thicker, much thicker panels. So I am going to use a lot of sprues. More sprues than I've currently got, I reckon. So yeah, guys, if you've got any sprues, I am accepting them now. I've already had quite a few emails last night, actually, which is awesome. So yeah, I am accepting sprues. Someone has sort of said to me, will I take Gumpler sprues? At the moment, I'm going to say no, only because when I tried to glue them the other day, when I was doing something with them, they seem to be coated in a different sort of, well, coating. So I think the Gumpler sprues and WARHAMMER sprues are different. Whether or not the actual like compound or whatever's inside is different, I'm not sure. But certainly the outer layer is definitely different. I've not tried melting the Gumpler ones, so I don't know how well they dissolve in acetone. But they do seem to have a different sort of coating to these. So I'm going to do this build purely with WARHAMMER sprues. So yeah. So Jacob, yeah. Sorry, do you have enough sprues for the manta? Yeah. At the moment, no. But yeah, it's funny. I did put that comment on about manta, and everyone's sort of saying, "Oh yeah, loads of people are doing mantas." Obviously, they've been around for like years and years and years, and then all of a sudden, everyone's doing them. But that's probably why someone wrote on one of my comments about doing a manta, just because obviously it's sort of popped up. I say it does look like it's a lovely looking spaceship, but yeah, it is huge. Um, yeah. Yes, I say I've got the dimensions, I've got a rough idea, and yeah, it's say the fact it's gonna be so heavy as well. So I think once I do build it, I am possibly going to stick it straight on eBay because I will literally have no room for this thing at all. So yes, I'm going to be building it with the intentions of selling it. Yeah, where I'm not sure. So I've got an eBay account which I haven't used like ever. But yeah, it will be for sale. But obviously it'll be for sale, but it'll have to be someone fairly local. Because obviously the weight of this thing, it would cost a fortune to ship it anywhere. I think even to send it in the UK would obviously cost a lot of money because purely the size as well, the size of it and the weight. But anyway, that's further down the line. I've got to build it first. So yeah, so that's why I'm going to be building the panels for this thing a little bit different. Plus the other thing I'm going to do differently. So this again, that's why I like trying new builds because I do different things, and this build's going to be a lot different to my previous ones because obviously a lot of the stuff I built before, like this, has been built with the mind of an orc, kind of. So it has got dents, indentations. It is a bit rough. It's a bit wrinkly. Obviously, the Tau Manta is a lovely, smooth, sort of sleek looking thing. So my plan is to obviously build the thing, but as I'm building it, I'm going to be using the sprue goo as kind of like a filler. And I'll be using that to sort of make the nice sort of smooth curves and everything else. And then once it's all dried, I'll be giving it a good sanding. Just because I want it to be lovely and smooth and sleek lines. As opposed to obviously how the sprue panels normally come out. Which is generally like a dog's dinner. And they've been beaten about. So yeah, so say this, that's why again this build's going to take quite a while. Because obviously once I do build the framework, get the panels on, get the sprue goo on, I'll probably have to leave it a good week or so for it to like fully sort of, I'm going to use the word cure. Obviously that's not the right word, but it's going to cure. So the acetone evaporates and basically goes back to being a nice hard solid plastic, which I can then sand. So again, that's why this project's going to take quite a while. Again, making the panels, I have to make panels then leave them for 7-8 hours before I can even do anything with them. So yeah, that's why this build will be done alongside other builds. Just because I won't be able to do it all in one go because say things need to dry, cure, or whatever really. Right, so yeah, guys, it's obviously good to have you all here. I mean, every now and then, for anyone new that joins up, I will go through kind of what I've just said then, just so everyone's sort of up to date and aware of what I'm doing and how I'm basically going to build the Tau Manta, as well as what I'm doing and my other little builds and projects. What I will say again, because obviously I want to crack on, obviously get lots done. Obviously I never do when I'm streaming, but I'll try. If you do have any questions or anything that's related to me, if you can put @miniature hobbyist in your comments, just because on my screen then it will come up in a nice orange block, or my name comes up in orange. And it lets me know that you're obviously saying something to me, as opposed to just sort of general chit chat. Yeah, Thomas Plant, hello to you. Yeah, by all means, obviously, just jump on, say morning, say hi. Obviously, I'll say hi back as long as I see it. Obviously, chat amongst yourselves. Awesome. I think the link is now in the description for the Discord. I say I'm pretty much going to be live streaming most mornings. Thursday I can't because I'm out. But other than that, I'm going to be sort of 9 o'clock. I'm going to jump on here, live stream. 2-3 hours, I would have thought would be sort of the normal. Just because obviously I have got a lot I want to get done and a lot to do. But yeah, I obviously need a drink every now and then because I've got a blocked up nose still. It's been a good 2 weeks now I've had this. It's not even really a cold, it's just my nose. It's just annoying. Oh. Yeah, so as I say, I'm going to be sort of doing bits for the manta and bits for the monster bash. Is what my plan is. So yeah, anyone who hasn't seen or know about what the monster bash is, go and check out Miscast. He does it sort of every year. I think this is the third year, I believe. Basically, it's like random cards with different pictures, different images on them that him and his mates sort of do. Initially, you'd print them out and then you'd like pull out 7 cards and then try and make something with the cards you pulled out. But now he's got the random generator online, so you can like go on it and just like stop it every now and then and see what you get. And this is kind of what I got. So each one of these is obviously an image that pops up on the screen, and then you sort of make something combining all the images. And what you make is entirely up to you. Basically, it's a bit of fun, and it's just sort of getting creative. Because sometimes, with this hobby, you sometimes have a mental block, and you're not sure what to make. So doing something like this is awesome, because obviously this takes it out of your hands, what you make. This shows you what you need to make. So this is what I've got. I think it's like a dragon's tail. A load of balls, but I think I'm going to make them into eggs. Candle, load of eyes. Obviously legs with pointy shoes. Another thing that's just said extremely long legs, and good old I think it's Homer Simpson as a donut, basically. Which is funny because I did it last year and I had a donut. Yeah, I'm sure I had a donut last year. But this one's coming out for like Halloween. I think everyone's going to post their videos of what they're making on the 31st of this month. So yeah, like a Halloween one. Whereas my last creation was a bit more cute, cuddly and friendly. This is going to look more, obviously, gruesome, scary and Halloweeny. So, what I've decided to do is take, obviously, good old Homer Simpson and his sort of donut face. And that's going to be like the main body. So again, obviously, oh yeah, this build purely out of sprues. Just because why not, really. So yeah, I'm making it out of sprues. So I made a donut. Again, even with the donut, there's a framework inside the donut. Not much of a framework, but enough to then sort of build on. And my plan is to obviously take the donut as the main body. I've got these other, obviously the little silicone moulds are great because I'm making those for the eyes. So my plan is to have the donut, obviously the main guy, sitting on, this is going to be like a pile of eggs. Well, I'm not too sure. It's going to be eggs or it could be eyes. I'm not sure. But he's going to be sitting on top of that. I said I drew a rough sketch. And when I say rough, I mean rough. So this is kind of what I've drawn. Looks like my son drew this rather than me, but hey ho. So this is what I've drawn. So obviously it's the donut sitting on all these balls, which I say are either going to be eggs or eyes. I'm not too sure. Obviously long legs with the boots, but I think I'm going to make the boots into like thigh length boots. So he's going to look a little bit kinky. One of his feet is going to be propped up on top of a big eye. The other one just on the floor. In his hand, he's going to have one hand on his hip or leg. The other hand's going to be like shoveling loads of eyes into his mouth. That's what he's eating. And then obviously I'm going to put a candle at each corner. So that's roughly what I'm doing with that one. Again, just a bit of fun. And yeah, this is sort of as far as I got on this. Because basically I only started this last night. So yeah, so I'm going to be working on both these today. So yeah. Cool. Right, so it's good to see so many people out there. Yeah, one thing guys, if you haven't already, if you can click thumbs up on this video, that would be awesome. If you have any way of sharing this so I can get more viewers, obviously awesome. Otherwise, yeah, just sort of sit back, have me on the background. If you do go out, leave me on. Just because it helps my channel out, really. But yeah, and any questions, say at Miniature Hobbyist, would be awesome. So I'm going to do a bit of the Monster Bash one, then start getting some panels ready. So yeah, so guys, if you do have any sprues you want to send me, my email is in the description down below. Click on that, and I will say or let you know where to obviously send them to. If you wanted to help out in any other way, I do need lots more acetone. Again, if you look down below, there is a link. What's the link? Yeah, in the description, there's a thing called Things I Need. And basically, it's a link to Amazon. And on there is obviously some, items I need. And one of them was obviously acetone. I mean, I did buy loads ages ago. I bought probably like 5 litre thingies. That's almost all gone. I've got these 2 jars left. obviously with my goo sprue in. So yeah, if you wanted to help the channel out, by all means, I would love it if you did want to buy me some acetone. That would be awesome. And what I'm doing is anyone who does send in anything like sprues or acetone or anything like that, you will get a mention in the video where I make the manta, basically. So because it is a big project, obviously I am going to sort of pretty much rely on you guys sending me more sprues. Because I thought I had loads. Well, I have got loads. I've got 2 big boxes of sprues. But this project is going to go through those like I don't know what. So, yeah. Right, so I'm going to get back to sort of doing a bit of building on this. Let's just see what's happening with my music. It seems to have gone a little bit quiet. Right, let's click a different one. It's only going to last for 20 minutes. Let's go at this one. See what this sounds like. Let's go on the comments. Let's have a quick look. Oh, apologies, I've missed Aisha. Morning. I've just seen your comment. Good morning to you. Oh, you're going down to Southend. I love Southend. With the other old folk. I'm guessing you guys all know each other, then you're all going down together. See Steve for acetone, he wears nail varnish. Oh, bless. Matt, just got rid of a bunch of sprues. Oh no, never mind. I say, it's great because all these people have been messaging me over the last sort of 3-4 months offering to send them. I've messaged quite a few of them straight back. Just sort of say, yeah, I would love to have your sprues now because I need a shed load. So, yeah. Lady Sophine Valentine. So you've already gone through 3 boxes worth. Last time you saw I had 5. I've gone through some. So I've got 2 big boxes. I must say big. They are, well, they're the boxes that my 3D printer and my the wash and cure installation went in. So I've only got 2 boxes, but they're big boxes. But as I was saying, I've kind of worked out roughly what I need. Well, I haven't really worked it out. I just know I need a shed load for this build. And the sprues I've got won't, well, they make a big dent in it, but I will need more sprues. Yeah, because basically so I'm going to be making panels, how I made panels in one of my previous videos, by using the sprue like this and then infilling it with more sprue goo. Just to say, because the size of this thing I'm building, it's that big, I need it to be strong and sturdy so you can pick it up without the fear of it buckling or you putting your finger through it. So that's why I'm making the panels differently. Plus the whole thing's almost going to get a coat of sprue goo, because I then want to sand it down and make it smooth and say, so that's what the weird thing about this build is, it's not going to be like an Orc build. So with the Orc builds I can get away with a lot of imperfections and indents and rough bits and all that kind of stuff. But obviously because this isn't an Orc build, this is a nice sort of towel robot-y kind of build. It is super smooth and sleek. So yeah, I'm going to need a lot of sprue goo over it. Which is what I say, guys, yeah, if you want to send me sprues or if you want to send me some acetone, that would be wonderful. Or if you know a company that makes acetone and they want to get in touch and do some sort of collaboration where they send me stuff and I promote them and all that, then yeah, by all means, let me know about that. All the moderators on the Discord, awesome. Chimera, quick question about sprue glue. Yeah, again, guys, if once I get started on this, I will look at the comments, but not as much as I am now. If you've got a question for me, if you put @miniature hobbyist, as in like one sort of word, it comes up on my screen as orange, and then I can see it. But yeah, so what was that? Quick question for Sprue. How long does it take for it to get melty and the right consistency? Well, this one, I put these sprues in last night. I always say 8 hours, but generally when I'm making stuff up, like now I've got these 2 bottles. If I use these up now and put sprues in, come tonight I'd be able to use it again, and then obviously I'll put more sprues in, and then by tomorrow I'd be able to use it again. So generally, I always make sure that I put stuff in these at night time, just because then I know in the morning there's stuff in there, whether I'm going to use it or not. Because you can leave this in here indefinitely. The longest I've left stuff in the jar was about 7 weeks. As long as the acetone is still above it, then it will remain soft. Obviously, if the acetone sort of goes below this, or there isn't acetone in there, then it will dry out. That's why I like using the glass jars with obviously the lids. They are kind of airtight or air sealed, so the acetone shouldn't evaporate. I say I've had one in there for 7 weeks and it was fine. But yeah, so generally I leave it 8 hours. It might be less. I'm not too sure. I just know that I put it in overnight. Like I say, last night I did this about 11 o'clock, and obviously this morning it's good to go. So yeah, 8 hours is the number I like to band about, because I always use 8 hours for it to go the other way. So when you like this I made last night, it's also my donut that's eaten. This is nice and solid. This was made by a framework and then the sprue glue put on there and then sort of like smoothed out. So yeah, 8 hours is a magic number. Ezra, oh cheers buddy. Donation, oh cheers, yeah. Stick that towards the acetone. Well, I say I am going to order some today because I have got none left. But yeah, by all means, if anyone wants to sort of go on Amazon and buy myself, that'd be great. But yeah, no, Ezra, cheers buddy. I will definitely be using that to buy some more. Because say I'm going to need loads. I mean, acetone normally lasts quite a while, but again, because I'm making something so big, and it's just going to use an absolute shed load. Camara, yours is just a little jar, about the size of a nail polish. It shouldn't. I wouldn't have thought it'd make any difference to the size. Again, what I normally do is I get the jar, whatever size jar I get, I fill up halfway with acetone, and then I fill it to the top with obviously the sprues. Obviously, that's why I've got loads of cut up ones already. Fill it to the top, and then about an hour or so later, when it starts to dissolve, I push it down and then fill it up again. And obviously, that's why I say that it obviously sinks right down. But can you keep reusing it? How does it run out, or is it just taken out of the jar when you get the goo? Yeah, so literally what I do now is I'll use this. I say the chances are I will be using these 2 bottles. I'll be using all of this morning because I want to make loads of panels. So once I take it all out, obviously the acetone, well, the acetone you can see there, that's obviously how much is left. So when I take all the goo out, the acetone will be down to here somewhere, and then generally I would top the acetone back up to halfway, and then repeat the process. Fill it through the sprues, leave it an hour, push them down, put more in. But because I haven't got any more acetone, so I'm going to order some today that should be here tomorrow. But yeah, so the acetone, it's like when I first started doing these, I was getting loads of complaints from people saying, oh, that's bad for the environment because you're throwing the acetone away, and how are you disposing of it and what you're doing. And I kept saying to people, I'm not getting rid of acetone. Why would I? I just keep using it. It never gets thrown away because it never gets not used. So yeah, so this will always be used. I'll just keep topping it up. Yeah, so it always made me laugh when people, and honestly, they were moaning, as in really moaning, about the health, the environment, and killing trees and plants and insects and stuff. And it's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't throw it away. That's just nuts. Plus, if you know me in real life, I don't throw much away anyway because I'm a bit tight. I like to hoard stuff. So I've had bits of wood that I've had for years and years, and I might need them one day. I'm in a 1-bedroom flat, and I've still bought some of the wood from my house here, just on the off chance I might need it. So yes, I don't generally throw stuff away, but hey ho. I've made a donut. I've made a donut, and this is for the Monster Bash. So I'm going to do a little bit to this, and then I'm going to get on and make some panels. So that's why I didn't class this video or this stream as a making the towel manta, because I'm doing a bit of the Monster Bash one as well. But as usual, I will be sticking the camera in front of my face because I am obviously filming what I'm doing for, well, both the videos basically. Lion, hello. You sculpted your first 2 models with the GUI. Nurgle's Beast, awesome. Oh, cool, good stuff. They come out really good. So this stuff is great. That's why I made the base for this. But again, like I did in the other video, where I made this as a panel and then used the underneath because it's nice and flat. This time I'm purposely using the top just because it's come out like skin. So again, because this is going to be like a horror monster, even though it is going to be a donut, it's going to be a horror donut. Yeah, Sprue goo is great for making like skin, fleshy bits, as well as obviously flat panels, basically. Yeah, so I'll just try and reread a few bits just in case I've missed anything. So yeah, so I'm going to basically, he's going to be sort of like attached to that. So I'm going to make some sort of like hole in him, put obviously a few sprues in him and in this, just so he attaches nicely, and obviously use a lot of glue. Yeah. Yeah, that was just me, as a pause then, me just thinking what I'm doing next, basically. They came out really well. Awesome, Lion. That's good to hear. Yeah, that's what I say, with the that towel manta, I will be doing a few techniques that I've not done before, just because it needs to be a nice, smooth finish, and it needs to be, well, something that's solid, secure. Because of the size of it, I don't want it obviously breaking apart. Right, let's have a quick think of what I'm going to do and what I need. Yeah, it's great to see so many guys on in the morning. 43. Awesome. Might slowly get back up to the numbers. Because when I first started streaming, about 7-8 months ago, I think I was getting around about between 120 and 160 people watching. But then I obviously stopped streaming, and obviously the numbers went right down. Plus, I think a lot of it is YouTube not letting people know that I'm kind of on. But say I am going to be doing. I think mornings are best for me. So this week I'll be streaming every morning, apart from Thursday, and say typically I'm going to start at 9, and then go to sort of 12ish. Again, it all depends on what I'm doing, because once I run out of the Sprue goo, I'm not sure how much more I can do with this. Obviously, I am going to be building a big framework for the towel manta, so I will be doing that. But so I just wanted to do a bit more to the Monster Bash thing, just because again, this obviously takes time for it to dry, cure, for me to be able to do other bits. Right, so. Should do. Okay, it's just me thinking in my head what I'm going to film and what bits I need to hand, just so I can obviously get it done, basically. Yeah, cheers, Steve. I was just about to say that. I just had a quick look, and there's 25 thumbs up and 39 people watching. So we need a few more thumbs up, guys. Lady Valentine, wait, what's happening with the towel manta? I'm building it, but I always have several projects on the go. So with a towel manta, I need to have several other projects, otherwise you won't see anything for like a month, because I think it's going to take me at least 2-3 weeks, and even that might be optimistic. I'm not sure. It all depends on how quickly the framework goes together, how quickly the panels go onto it. I know it's going to take more than 2-3 weeks. It's going to probably take 2-3 weeks to actually build it, but then I want to cover it in the Sprue goo, sand it down so it's lovely and smooth, and basically no imperfections is what I'm going to go for. Right, let's film something. we go. That should be okay. Oh, cheers, Aisha. Thank you for the donation. I say, basically, guys, whatever you donate and whatever, it goes back into this channel. And obviously, as I keep saying, I will be using quite a lot of acetone in this build. Just obviously melt the, or dissolve is the correct term, as I keep getting told. Dissolve the sprues into sprue goo. So yeah, cheers, Aisha. That's much appreciated. Yeah, thank you. So yes, as I say, I'm gonna have to go through and buy quite a bit of stuff. Just to say, I want to make the panels with the sprues and then infill it. So if you've seen that video recently, I say that's obviously a lot. What do I do with it? Yes. So these panels will be a lot thicker, a lot firmer than the panels I normally make, which are obviously just sort of like rolled out, and these are like basically sort of 1mm thick. So I just feel if I make the tail manta out of this, it'll be too wibbly wobbly and flimsy. Whereas obviously these, I mean these as they are nice and strong. It's just a case of cutting off all these nibbly knobbly bits at the bottom, and then obviously filling it from this side on greaseproof paper. So when I peel them off, it'll be lovely and smooth and flat. But say the whole thing I build, when I do build it, it will get a good old sanding basically. Steve, I can send you loads of sanding paper. Oh yeah, no, yeah, I'd appreciate that, Steve. Yeah, I'll definitely need, yeah, definitely, well, yeah, a combination of some coarse and super fine. I say, because I really want to make this build is going to be so different from my previous builds, which obviously normally are sort of orc builds. So yeah, having imperfections, dents, scratches, it looks good for orcs. But for this robot towel machine, yeah, it needs to be perfect. Right, so let's have a quick look. How much do I want this going up? Right, about there. Yeah, so anyone just joined, obviously the thing I'm currently doing is the Monster Bash project by Miscast. But I'm kind of be doing a bit of this and a bit of the towel build as well. And yeah, so just like I did with the Orc Stomper, which is sitting just here. Oh, if I pick him up. So yeah, like I did with the Orc Stomper, because I actually built him on live streams. The towel thing is going to be pretty much the same. Because there is so much to do, I may as well obviously do it and live stream it at the same time. So yeah, so this was the biggest build I've done with sprues. But I think I could probably fit about, oh, I don't know, maybe 20 of him on top of this other spaceship I'm doing. But yeah, crazy. Lion, I'm crazy going for the manta. Well, it's only because someone suggested it. Because basically, whenever guys suggest something and I've not seen it before, I always go and have a little look. And yeah, I had a little look and I just thought it looked awesome. So that's why I did my little post about, oh, if this post gets 300 likes, I'll build it. And I haven't looked for a while, but I think it's on about 660 or 680. So yeah, I think it's obviously quite a popular thing, which is awesome. But yeah, I knew it was big, but it was only when I got obviously reference pictures of the size of it and a picture of someone actually holding it, do you then appreciate how big it is. Because I've seen pictures of it with like the miniatures, and obviously the miniatures are small, so you think, well, it's going to be big, but it's still small. But then this guy's holding it and his arms are like out wide, and it's like, yeah, this is just nuts. But I like the idea of it. It's going to be fun. And I say, I'll be building that alongside lots of other things at the same time. Just because, yeah, I won't get that done for at least 2-3 weeks. But, right, so that can get put on there. We'll hold that for a little second. So yeah, with this thing, obviously, because it's coming out for Halloween, obviously, Homer's mouth is like a sort of normal mouth, but I'm going to have it as an open mouth with loads of like razor sharp teeth inside. But I also picked a card that says extra long legs, and obviously this one that's got like sort of like little boots on it. So I'm going to give this thing, even though it's going to look kind of like nurgly and disgusting and gooey and ooey, I'm going to give it some nice long thin legs in the old kinky thigh-high boots, which I may well paint pink when I come to paint this guy. I'm not sure. well, I say guy, it's kind of like a guy-girl. Well, I say that these days, there is no guy and girl, is there? It's, I don't know, we're all toasters or something, aren't we? I don't know. Anyway, let's not go down that road. Ezo, wife is demanding I get dragged to the shops later. Does she not know about Amazon? Just tell her whatever dress she wants, she can get off Amazon. Lady, that's why I have a tape measure on hand when looking at Forge World. That way I can measure the size of things. Yeah. Yeah, this thing is nuts. I say, even though I'm going to obviously break it down to 3 bits. And obviously I'm going to start with the center console. Well, not console, but the center body bit first. And say this is 240 millimeters by 630. So again, it kind of only just about fits on my desk. And what's the 230 is about there. So yes, it's gonna be like that sort of depth by about that, and that's just the center bit. And obviously the height. I haven't worked out the height yet, but the height of this I think it's going to be something like about that. So it's probably going to be about 10 inches high, and it's just, yeah, it's huge. But hey ho, you've got to do these challenges every now and then. But say the problem I'm going to have more than anything is where to store it once it's built, which is why I say I think once it is built, I will be sticking it on eBay, just because it's going to be too big. I can't. I haven't got enough room for the stomper, let alone something that's 10, 20 times the size of that. Right. I'm going to stick this dude's eyes on. So I'm going to do a little bit to this, and then I'm going to start making some panels. Because the panels, again, it'll be a case of making the panels today. Won't be able to do anything with the panels until tomorrow. And then I need to get some more. So I've got the rough dimensions, but I need to sort of break it down into more parts. So I've got this in Photoshop, and I've got a grid over the whole thing, so I can take like individual measurements. So I'm basically working off these pictures. Obviously, I've got loads of other sort of photo pictures that I've printed off, but in regards to dimensions, I'm going from these. So I'm hoping these are fairly accurate, because obviously I haven't got a real one to get dimensions from. I spent about 3-4 hours the other day, yesterday, looking for like full dimensions for this. Can't find any sort of dimensions at all. So basically, I've worked off. Someone did sort of say what the length of it is from nose to bum, and the width from tail, tip to tip on the wings. So that's the dimensions that I'm using overall, and I'm using this this picture, scaled it down, put the grid over it, and then this is what I'm going to work from. So it's going to look as much as I can like the original, but obviously without having the original to get every single little sort of dimension from, it won't be 100% accurate. It still look good though. Lion, awesome idea. You'll have fun and make money. Yeah, so the money, it's not. I'm obviously not doing it to make the money, but yeah, getting the money will be good. But yeah, say I just won't have room. And again, I won't have room to store it, and I'm never going to use it because obviously I don't play Warhammer. Hang it from the ceiling like we used to hang the Airfix. But again, this thing's going to be a good 10 inches in height. I mean, even though I'm short, I'd probably still hit my head on it. But yeah, that'd be quite cool, that at an angle up on the ceiling somewhere. It'd be nuts. I need to contact Squidmire Miniatures or Play on Tabletop, the other 2 channels that are doing it. Yeah, maybe I should, or challenge them to see who gets theirs done and painted first. Although no, because obviously my paint job isn't going to look anything like Squidmire's. Because I'm thinking on mine, I'm basically going to go, I want to go sleek black, silver dry brushing, and then maybe a few orange highlights, because I like orange. Or gold. Orange and black or gold and black. Yeah, orange and black looks cool. Right. So these are the little eyes. Let's get these out. Cool, a little bit of filming every now and then just to make sure I capture the bits I need to. Oh, cool. The thumbs up now outweigh the watchers. We can also take this off here now, I would have thought. Yeah, so when I do the panels for the manta, as I say, what I'm going to basically do is obviously get these, cut the nibbly knobbly bits off the bottom, which I will be doing later on in this video, infilling it, and then it comes out like this. So even though it comes out relatively smooth, as you'll be able to see, it is still not like perfectly smooth. Hence the reason why once I build the manta, I will then be going over and giving it a full sanding, just because I want it to look super smooth and not like it was well, built by an orc, basically. Not that there's anything wrong with it being built like an orc, because obviously we all know I do love my orcs. Right, so I'm going to stick some eyes on this dude. So this video won't be out to the end of the month, just so it coincides with everyone else's Monster Bash. But obviously I want to try and get it done within the next week or so, just so I can show or send images to Trent, basically, just so he can sort of do what he's going to do with them. So I think if you're doing the Monster Bash and you make it early enough, send pictures or on Instagram, and then I think they get included at the end of yeah, Trent's video, which would be pretty cool. Yeah, Zine, this is the Monster Bash. Yeah, so for the Monster Bash, I did his random generator online. Obviously, videoed it, and these are the 7 sort of pictures that that I stopped on. So yeah, a nice little variety. So that's why I love the Monster Bash, because say with this, sometimes when you make things, or sometimes you forget. Or not forget, you can't think of what to make, or you make a lot of the same things. By doing the Monster Bash, obviously what you make is out of your control, pretty much. So it is quite fun to do, just purely for this is what you're given, this is what you got to make or use to make something with, and then just go free and make what you want. So yeah, so I'm making a obviously a Homer Simpson donut with long legs, and his arms are going to be made from, well, some sort of tail. He's going to be eating a handful of eyes and sitting on maybe a load of eggs. Although my daughter did say, because I showed my daughter what I was doing, she goes, maybe he's eating the eyes and he's pooping the eyes out. So he might be sitting on the poop that he's pooping out. I'm not sure. But it seemed like quite a good idea. So that's why kids are great. When they look at things, obviously sometimes their minds work completely different from ours. And yes, I kept thinking, this is why we're going to be sitting on eggs or just eyes. And my daughter was like, well, no, he's sitting on the eyes that he's pooped out. Or it's poopy eyes. I don't know. Either way, it seemed quite funny. Is this going to be working? Oh, it is. Yeah, this got blocked up again last night. So I did my little flamethrower trick with it. So because I do prefer using the cement glue for two reasons really. One, your fingers don't stick together, which is awesome. And two, obviously when you put it on here, well, there's three reasons really. Two, you put it on here, you've got a bit of time to move it around before obviously the glue takes hold. And three, obviously when the glue does take hold, it's obviously a lot stronger bond than the super glue. Yeah, I think eyes about there will do. Right, it's a monstrosity, so it doesn't really matter where the eyes go. They could be offset and it'll still look fun. give them a little push down so they. See, that's the reason cement glue is great, because obviously it does dissolve one bit into the other, which obviously makes it nice, a nice better bond, and you can sink it in a bit more. So yeah, I say it's gonna be a weird, fun looking thing, this. And yeah, that's why I love these monster bashes, just because they really are just so random. Yeah, it's cool. Right, so yeah, so the bits again. This is obviously a bit I'll just cut off. So generally, when I can, I'll use the sprues up all the time. But if a bit gets cut off that was sprue goo, I don't put that back in the acetone. Only because I've only done it once, where I had loads of offcuts of the sprue goo. I put it back in the acetone with other, obviously, good goo. And when I come to use it the next time, it was just bitty. Whereas this stuff will come out and it's like a nice, it's like a really, really thick syrup or runny plasticine. You take your pick which it is. But when you put the sprue goo that's gone hard in it, it doesn't seem to dissolve as well as the other stuff. It's maybe because obviously it's, again, this is me, I haven't got a clue. It's compound or texture or makeup, molecular makeup, whatever it is, doesn't obviously react the same way again. So generally these offcuts, some of them I keep and some I bin. So like this bit, I would probably just bin because it's no real use. And I generally keep a lot of offcuts because these can be just used as infill or rubbish bits for other things. But then sometimes I have loads of them and then I think, oh, I'll just bin them because I'm not going to use them. Alright, so I think what I'll do is, while that's drying a little bit, I am going to actually make a panel up, just so you guys can see obviously how I'm going to make the panels for the towel manta. So again, anyone who's just joined, obviously making the going to make a towel manta, which is just nuts because it's huge. But rather than making things how I normally make them, as in I make the framework and then make some panels of sprue goo like this, which are sort of nice and wafer thin, which is great because you can cut it with scissors and obviously you can glue it onto whatever you want to glue it on. Making something so big out of a framework and these, I don't think it'll have the structure and support. It might be a bit wibbly wobbly, basically, is what I'm saying. So I'm making panels out of the sprues like this, and then infilling the gaps with some sprue goo. Just because obviously straight away this has got a lot more rigidity to it, and obviously because it's thicker as well, obviously. So yeah, making panels out of this is definitely the way to go. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, so basically to make the panels, well, we'll get that first. The first thing I do is cut off all the nibbly knobbly bits that are underneath, because the idea is, I'll get one of these sheets out. The idea is you get a nice greaseproof piece of paper, and I use greaseproof because obviously this doesn't, the sprue goo doesn't stick to it. So when you come to sort of peel it off, it peels off nice and clean. If you put it on anything else, the goo will try and stick to it, and it'll ruin whatever you put it on, basically. As I say, the greaseproof paper is kind of awesome. So this is where we do lots of cutting. So like I say, I've got two boxes I'm going for. One, when I've got loads of the sprues, I cut up. So whenever I get the sprue, as an example, let's do this one. I normally cut the inside bits out, and then the outer bit I cut into like the nice long lengths. And I say these will go to help do panels. Apologies now, I say I don't know why this camera, it keeps the white balance, or I don't know, not even the focus, but it goes light and dark. Like even now, I'm not moving. The light in my room is consistent because I've got lights on, and it's still blinking in and out. I need to get another webcam, which I am saving up for, to get another webcam, because see the one you're looking at me on is a Logi webcam, whatever. Really good. But obviously I'm using my phone as the other one, and I don't know why it's blinking in and out, because the light in my room isn't changing. I've got LED lights on me, so again there's no like pulse rate to those. Let's put my hand over it and then, right, fingers crossed that might sort. No, yeah, I haven't got a clue why it's doing that. It bugs me, so it must bug you. Anyway, I was seeing you're doing a bunch of bash as well. Awesome. Should have planned it a little better, but it's fun. Well, that's the. Can you really plan a monster bash? I mean, it's funny because I had those images. I started making something. I was in the bath last night, and that's when I came up with the idea to make him sitting on a pile of eggs, eating eyes, foot on a big eye, and the kinky boots bit. So yeah, so have a bath. I always find I have a bath, and my mind just sort of like just drifts off, and you come up with weird ideas. So yeah, so obviously all the underneath of this needs to be cut flat, so this can lay flat on the greaseproof paper. So yeah, it is just a case of going around and cutting any bits that are obviously protruding up. Obviously all these bits I cut off will be used to make the goo, so which is good. So even though these bits are little, I'll still chuck them in there, and then at the end of the night I'll chuck them in the bottle. But I say, well, all these bits taken off because I want this to lay perfectly flat. Yes, anyone else has just joined, I will be live streaming pretty much every day this week apart from Thursday morning, because I'm out Thursday morning. Just because obviously I will be working on this, yeah, quite a lot, because obviously there's a lot to do. But as I say, I always work on a few projects at once. So I'm probably going to finish off one of my other projects to get that out as a video this week. So obviously because the Monster Bash one, that won't be released until the end of the month, to obviously coincide with like Halloween, and well, and obviously when all the others are releasing their videos, basically. Aisha, the camera is haunted. Well, I don't know what it is, but I say it does annoy me. Because I just can't work out why it's doing it. I say the light isn't flickering in here or anything, so there's no reason for it to go in and out like it is. Plus, I've kind of set it up so it's manual. So again, it shouldn't change. Any of its settings shouldn't change because, well, it's in manual. But it still does. So yeah, another webcam is the way to go. Obviously you can get them quite cheap, but the webcam I'm using is about £60, and it's been great. I mean, I've had that camera for about 3 years, I think. Never had any issues. Works really well. So yeah, I need to save me pennies, get me £60, get another webcam. Especially now, I am going to be getting back into doing lots of live streaming, basically. And I say, I know, because it bugs me. I know if I was watching a streamer and their camera kept sort of going light and dark, that would bug me, and maybe bug me enough to not be able to watch. But I say, I just can't work out what to do to change it. Steve's camera does the same thing. Yeah, I don't know why, because there's no reason to. I mean, if I wasn't using LED lights and I was using normal lights, then I can understand it a little bit, because obviously there is like the pulse or hertz rate of lights where they flicker. So that would be part of an option. But I say, I'm using LED lights and I've got the thing on manual. So it shouldn't try and adjust the light. But it does. Well, I say, maybe it is haunted. Maybe that is the explanation. And if that's the case, well, I need someone to come around and perform an exorcism or whatever it is on it. But I don't actually believe in ghosts, so who knows what it is. So we're doing well as usual. We are like 1 hour in, and all I've done is stick a donut on a big ball with a couple of eyes and cut a few nibbly knobbly bits off. So not bad going for an hour. So what are you guys up to? And have you been more productive in the last hour that I've done that? Daniel, when you sweep the floor, you find a lot of nibbly knobbly bits. Yeah. The other day, basically when I cut the nibbly knobblies, I hold them quite tight. So I hold them so they don't twang off. You might be able to see. Yesterday, I've been cutting things for ages. Never cut myself. Yesterday, I cut myself twice. Cut myself on the thumb. You might be able to see it. And I cut myself there. Basically, because obviously I hold the things really tight, and obviously just the very tip of this cut. I mean, they both hurt, but that one, oh man, it bled like a nutter. It just wouldn't stop. But say if I don't hold the things really tight and close, they twang off, and some of them, I mean, even when I hold them, some of them still twang off. But they just like fly. And then yeah, like you say, I find them days later, and they're in like weird places that you wouldn't expect them to be, obviously. But yeah, nibbly knobbly bits all over the floor. Ooh, madam. It's worse than Lego. It is worse than Lego. You're right, Steve. Because these bits are sharp, small and sharp. But at least with Lego, it's kind of like a bit larger, so it sticks in your foot a bit, but generally not enough to cut you. Although sometimes it can. Right, so cutting off all these nibbly knobbly bits at the bottom, just so it will lay flat on a greaseproof paper, and then basically I'm going to get the goo and fill all these little bits up, and that's how I'm going to be making the panels. So they're going to be nice, thick, sturdy, and strong panels. Well, basically, it's going to be like each panel has already got a sort of framework inside it, and obviously that's what's going to add a lot more sort of strength to this thing. Oh, I need to try and get hold of this big centre circle bit. That'll do. Yeah, Andrew, at least it's only sprue and not part of the model. Yeah, that'd be a disaster. A small little bit flies off, and then you can't find it. Permanent safety glasses, yeah. Right, so that's most of them off. Let's trim these bits off as well. Right, so that's pretty flat. So some of the bits, oh no, there's still a few bits there actually. Yeah, so it won't ever be like 100% flat unless obviously you got some sandpaper and sanded this flat. But say, because once I make these panels and it's all assembled, I'm going to give the thing a good sanding just to really get it nice and smooth and flat. So you always think you've got all of them, and then you lay it flat and it's like, oh no, there is still something there. Yes, I think this is now my preferred way of making panels, basically. Just because, say, they are bigger, thicker, and sturdier. And bases, well, as you can see from old Mr. Donut Man. Just having these as bases, I think is pretty good. It's a shame that they haven't got the sprues that are round. Obviously, that'd be even better. But I guess if you wanted to, you could cut this round if you had a nice, decent saw. A circular saw or something, and then just sand it round. But yeah, definitely a good way of making a variety of bases. think that's as good as it's really going to get. Let's say it's all going to get sanded afterwards. So yeah, so then what we do? Oh, I pushed a button. Something's happened. Oh, I might have to get a biscuit in a minute because I'm feeling hungry. Yeah, so then what we do is make the panel. So cut all the nibbly knobbly bits off the bottom so it's as flush. Oh man, say this is what I say. You keep finding a few more. Oh, that one's gone. Yeah, so then you put it down on some greaseproof paper. What I have been doing for the past few that I've done, I put a little bit of glue in the corners to put it down just so it obviously stays in place and doesn't sort of raise up. So that's what we'll do here. Man. So say when I am videoing bits of this for obviously the video, but bits like this I don't need to video just yet because I'm going to be making so many panels. Yeah, I don't need to sort of. Obviously, I won't need to video every single panel I make either because obviously they're all going to be the same. So put a little bit of glue, give that a couple of seconds to dry. I can't see what I need to do with that camera. It doesn't normally go in and out so much. Let's block it up again. Oh, it's bugging me. Yeah, right. Anyway, this and all those little nibbly knobbly bits will just slide off in there, and I say they'll be put into the jar of acetone to be made into ooey gooey stuff later on. Let's take that one. So yeah, so for this, let's say, if you watch a lot of my videos, you know I don't generally wear gloves that often. But in this case, because I am actually going to be touching this stuff straight away, I mean, what I'd sometimes do, it's like when I made this fella, I wore gloves. When I made the burger, I wore gloves sometimes, but not all the time. Because when you first take this stuff out, obviously it's got a lot of acetone still in it. But if you take it out and leave it, I normally, whenever I'm not using it straight away, I take it out, put it on some greaseproof paper, leave it for like an hour, 2 hours, and then it kind of turns into like plasticine consistency. And then sometimes I've like manhandled it without gloves. But because I'm going to be using this straight away, that's kind of why I'm putting gloves on, just to show a bit of health and safety and PPE and all that. Yeah. So yeah, so to make the panels, it is as simple as getting the sprue, cutting the nibbly knobbly bits from underneath off. Oh, I need to get my magic spoon. Well, it's not a magic spoon, but obviously it's a spoon I don't use to eat with. Yes, so special spoon, obviously goes in a special cupboard. I did write on it, but obviously the writing's come off. So, but I need to make something on this so I don't mix it up. So basically this spoon obviously goes in a different cupboard, stays with the acetone, just so I don't go and eat my porridge with it later on. That would be very good. Can we see the burger again? I have never seen it. Daniel, you've not seen the burger. How can you have not seen the burger? It's my favourite build that I've ever made. Which is quite funny because I'm going to be doing a video, it might come out this week actually, of my top 10 favourite builds and me talking about them. And the burger, little secret, it might be #1. There is a video for this burger. This burger is 100% sprue. Every bit of it is sprue. Apart from the paint. So paint, glue, sprue. But yeah, this is my favourite build to date. Again, framework inside this. So it's not solid sprue because, well, basically if you made it from solid sprue, that goo, it would just never dry. It would take forever. I think parts of this were maybe about ½ inch, quarter of an inch to ½ inch thick of sprue, just to try and obviously get the roundedness to bits of it. and even that took 4 or 5, maybe a week to dry. So yeah, so that's why this is a framework inside, and then coated in sprue goo, and then just sort of manipulated into whatever I need it to look like. And yeah, so this is my favourite build to date, the Sprue burger, and obviously it's a nice sized burger. I would quite happily have a go at demolishing a burger that big. But my kids keep telling me that I need to make the fries that go with it and a milkshake. So one day I will make fries and a milkshake in proportion with this. So they'll be like supersized as well. But again, I need more sprues. So guys, keep sending me sprues in now, because I am now accepting sprues. So yeah, again, this is my favourite just because it makes me laugh, it makes me smile, and this is always on a shelf where I can see it, just because I like to look at it. I love my burger. I need it sent a week, so I'm getting a bit silly. Oh, is that the link? Is it, Steve? Cheers for that. Yeah, it's making you hungry. It's making me hungry. I'm gonna have to get something to eat. Yeah, guys. Obviously, if you're into builds with sprues, check out. I've got a playlist. Are they called playlists? I think so. Some sort of list, and it's got all the sprue builds, and there's a ton. So say there's builds that obviously are bigger. So there's lots of like big sprue builds like this, and there's a tank sort of thing I made for this. The All made from this, obviously the burger. But there's also lots of smaller builds that I think a lot of you really like, as in making walls, making a pile of gold, making Warhammer markers, making some like bases, platforms, levels, stairs, little fires. I think there's a tent I've made. There's a ton of like smaller stuff to make for other bits and pieces, like scatter terrain and stuff, as well as obviously some big builds. But here's a playlist. So guys, if you can, once you've done with this video or me being on here, click on the playlist and just let the thing run. Again, that really helps my channel out. If you go on a playlist and YouTube sees you watching loads of my videos back to back, yeah, it helps promote my channel no end. So I would really appreciate that, guys. If you could do that, that'd be awesome. Right, I'm going to get a biscuit because again, whenever I get the Sprue burger out and talk about food, let's leave him there so you can all start to feel hungry like I am. And one of my favourite things, stale biscuits. I love biscuits. I generally get them, empty them into like a container, leave them, well, I try and leave them. If you can leave them for like 2-3 days, 3 days, stale biscuits, oh, they're so nice. It's very rare biscuits last that long around me, unfortunately. So yeah, these biscuits, I think these ones have been here for 3 days actually. Just because I find they go a bit softer and their taste just changes. Cheers, Aisha. Appreciate that. Oh yeah, and the TIE Fighter. That's one of my favourite things. He's down there somewhere. I made a TIE Fighter purely out of sprues, just to see what I could make out of sprues, really. I think the idea is I can make anything out of sprues almost. Apart from, I always say this, I couldn't make a little miniature because you just can't get that kind of detail. But the sprue goo, let's put it back on. This is the thing about this, I can't smell it, but I got a bit of a blocked nose. I'll put the lid back on anyway. Yeah, so you can get like silicone moulds, obviously like these silicone moulds. I've made some silicone moulds and made some bits and pieces, and the good thing is, as I say, the sprue goo doesn't stick to silicone, just like it won't stick to the greaseproof paper. So you can make moulds. If anyone is interested, you can get the sprue goo, put it on a greaseproof paper, get the green stuff rollers. I think I've got one somewhere. Yep, so you can get the green stuff rollers. I think mine one's just got a yeah, it's like you might be able to see it, but it's the brickwork pattern. Get the sprue goo, put it on some greaseproof paper. I would say leave it for at least 10 minutes and then roll it out. If you roll it out straight away, it will stick to your roller. I say, because when this stuff comes out, at first it is like super sticky. I mean, it'll stick to my gloves, it'll stick to anything. Within about 10 minutes, you'll be able to like just do that and it'll come off. So that's why if you leave it for 10 minutes, get your roller, you can roll out on the sprue goo and you can make the impression. So yeah, because someone has asked before about using the green stuff rollers. Do they work? And they do, but you need to leave the sprue stuff for say about at least 10 minutes because then it's not as sticky. It's only when it first comes out it's just super sticky. Valentina's just had breakfast, so you're good. Yeah, I don't normally have breakfast. That's the problem. I don't have breakfast. But then, if I'm not eating healthy, come 11 o'clock, I will just graze for the whole day. After things, morning buddy, how are you? Used to get bags of one day over broken biscuits from the local shop as well as a bag of batter bits from the chip shop. The batter bits I'm not too sure about because I'm not too fussed on batter. But yeah, our biscuits, I don't know what it is. After 3 days, something about them changes. Obviously, they get softer, which I like anyway because my teeth aren't the best of teeth. So softer biscuits is good. But there's just something with the... oh, should we just sit up there? Because we can all have a joyful laugh, look at it. Yeah, something about the taste of them. Their taste just changes just that little bit. And yeah, I just like it. I love it. Oh, so I'm just going to bop the camera every time I go for a biscuit. So, panels. These panels are so simple now. And I say they're so strong. It's awesome. So it's purely the sprue. Cut nibbly knobbly bits off. Get your sprue goo. And then it's as simple as spooning it out, basically. So say it comes out, it's all nice and gooey, basically. So the difference I can do with this though, compared to obviously the base on this, I have made nice and thick, and it's almost a little bit higher than the actual sprue. But with this one, it doesn't need to be as thick, so I'm going to push it more further out. So because this has got that good framework, because of the sprue, that's what's going to give this a lot of strength and sort of rigidity, basically. This is what I mean by say when it first comes out, it's sticking to my gloves, but within about 5-10 minutes, it won't stick anywhere near as much. It's just that initial bit when it comes out, it's still got a lot of acetone in it, I guess, which is why it will just stick to anything. Which is why this stuff's great as a filler. And I say when I build this whole thing, I will be going over it with this, a real thin layer of this all over, just so then it can be sanded down and say made super smooth. Obviously it doesn't matter what this side looks like, as in I'm smoothing it out, well, not exactly smoothing it, I'm pushing it around. Oh man, that's one of those things again. Oh, I should go off in a minute. Yeah, because obviously it's the other side that I'm going to be sort of like you're going to see. So that's why this side, it doesn't really matter if it looks like it's, well, Nurgle skin, because it's the other side. I'll have to stop that in a minute if it keeps going. Unfortunately, yeah, I mean, if you see my other live streams, you'll know what that is. Basically, obviously I've got two phones. One that I'd use normally, and one that's like a spare phone. And the spare phone I let my kids use. So they go on there, they download their games, and obviously they play their games. Well, the phone that's obviously on my desk, or looking at my desk, that's the one that my kids use, and obviously they play games on it, and sometimes the games, it's not like a messenger, but they kind of like do an alarm to let you know you've not played the game for a while. So it's like, come back, play me. But unfortunately I can't turn off, I can't put on airplane mode because it's wirelessly connected to my OBS. Again, that's why I do need to get another webcam, just because it'll be plugged straight into the computer, and it'll be so much better. But hopefully that will go off in a minute. Looks like grey Nutella. So say now, it's only been a few minutes, but now it's not as sticky. But say for using the green skin roller, green. My brain's gone dead. The rollers, I would definitely leave it at least sort of 10 minutes and then do it, just so it doesn't stick. And even if it does stick, you've only got to wait for it to dry, and you can just peel it off. So it's not going to ruin your rollers. Oh, that's another thing people were asking about the silicone. Does the goo sprue ruin these, as in like dissolve them in any way? Not that I'm aware of. I've had these moulds. God, I don't know when I got these. 6 months or more? I don't know. About 6 months, and I've used these lots. And there's been no deterioration in it at all. There's no like little holes or anything where the acetone might have dissolved it. So yeah, so I don't think, as far as I'm aware, the gooey sprue dissolves these moulds. Yeah, they seem to be right. So fingers crossed. They'll be used forever and ever. So even the moulds that I've made out of the rubber silicone, yeah, they've been fine as well, which is cool. So say I am sort of pushing these down because these don't need to be fully flush level. Just the actual sprue itself is what's going to be making these panels a lot firmer, basically. And obviously because I want to make the sprue goo go a long way. Green stuff roller goes on the goo. It does. The green skin roller, that a new AWP vehicle? Could be. Could be. So I hope you guys are all well and all happy on this Monday. Did you get up to anything exciting over the weekend, anyone? What have I done? Not a lot, really. I think I've chilled. Yeah, the kids were over, which is awesome. And yeah, we were chilling, playing games. I played so much Minecraft this weekend, it's untrue. But I quite like Minecraft, I don't mind it. Although I like mining. For some reason, I don't know why. But yeah, I get my stuff ready, go mining, and then just mine lots. So yes, I did that. I went to a car boot yesterday morning. Didn't buy anything. I never do, really. It's just good to get out for a bit of a walk with the kids, I think. Especially first thing in the morning. Get that done, and then you feel kind of good that you've done something. You've been out, you had a bit of fresh air. And then you don't mind spending the next few hours sitting playing Minecraft. But yeah, so you guys, you done anything good over the weekend? Been anywhere fun? Anything exciting? Anyone jump out of a plane or anything really silly? Description has been playing the new Far Cry 6 game. Awesome. I haven't played any of the Far Cry games. So I haven't really played any games on Xbox for ages. Obviously playing Minecraft, but I was playing on my computer and the kids were on the Xboxes. But yeah, I've not really played any kind of like games on a console for ages. And yet before kids, I had loads of consoles, loads of games. And yeah, I'd always be playing games. As soon as a new game came out, I'd be buying it. Obviously really expensive, though, isn't it? But, I mean, the game's typically 40, 50 quid a game, which is kind of nuts. All right. I say, if you want to make a Nurgle base, again, I don't know how well that picture's you picking it up, but so that's why if you get on a webcam, every now and then I'll be able to like zoom you in. Nurgle bases, this stuff is just awesome. Because when you're pushing it out, obviously it's starting to dry. So as you finger it and push it, it just makes it like a rough texture. And I say, for like, it looks like it's almost skin. Have you seen that the Doctor Who one? I want to say Melissa, but that doesn't sound right. There's the oldest person, and basically always has a bit of skin stretched out on a framework, and obviously a mouth and eyes, and that's what this looks like. It looks like her skin, obviously like rough, thin, wrinkly, old skin. Yeah, I'm sure it's not Melissa, but I can't think what it is. So any Doctor Who fans out there who might know what I'm talking about, the oldest person, I think they're the oldest person, they're on a spaceship, and it's just a thin piece of skin stretched out over some board, and obviously they're kind of alive, I guess. I can't think of a name. Not Melissa. Nah, it's probably not going to come to me. My brain is gone. Cassandra. Oh, I wasn't Melissa, Cassandra. Not a million miles away. Cheers description. Yeah, Cassandra. That's the fella. Well, lady. Well, the only good thing is my memory isn't getting any worse. I've just always had a shockingly bad memory, which is why I think at school my favourite lessons, art, design technology and graphics. So basically anything that involved remembering dates, like history, absolutely useless at. Because I can't remember toffee. It really is bad. So yes, I think that's why I kind of always excelled at the more creative sort of side, because my brain was better at that, and it didn't require you to memorise formulas or dates or numbers or people's names. Yeah, so I did enjoy art, graphics and design technology. So the other advantage as well of doing these as in quite thin, obviously they dry quicker. Well, I say they dry quicker, but again, I'm going to keep banding this 7-8 hours about. That's kind of the typical time I would leave anything. Just because then obviously you go and put this away somewhere, get on with other stuff, or go out, do whatever you're doing, and then come back 7-8 hours later. This should be sort of ready to use and do whatever you're sort of plan and do with it. Oh, pardon me. Yeah, you're right, Andrew. Melissa, Cassandra. I mean, in my eyes, they're quite similar. Now, if I'd said sort of Katie, then I don't know, Katie, Cassandra might be similar, or Sandra. No, Sandra. Oh, I don't know, but yeah. Either way, I was wrong. No real surprise. Although at least I knew I was wrong because I was saying it, and I did sort of say I don't think it's this name, and lo and behold, it wasn't. Yeah, so say this thing I'm building is going to be taking a lot of these kind of panels. Because obviously it's going to have obviously a floor going up the sides, all over the top, the wings. Which is why, as I was saying, I have got a lot of sprues. But I kind of know I'm going to need a shed load more. Just because this build is going to be big. And again, because it is quite a size, the main chunk that I'm doing on the body. Where's the picture? Oh, this is when my desk starts getting a bit cluttered. There's too many things on it. Yeah, so even like this main body is going to use up a lot of sprues because obviously this main body is the deepest bit. Obviously, as you can see, it is quite deep. Yeah, obviously I haven't worked out yet how deep it is, but I reckon it's going to be at least, I don't know, 200. 250 in sort of height. So this bit I'm building is going to use a lot of panels and a lot of sprues to form like supports and framework inside. So I say everything I build out of sprues that's sort of big, I build a frame in. I say Burger got a frame in it. Even this small donut, there was a frame inside this. Just because if you used all sprues, one, obviously you're going to use a shed load of sprues, it's going to be heavy, and something this size, even this size, if it was all sprues, well, for one, it would collapse because it's got no structure, no shape, it would just wibble wobble and fall in a big mess. And it would take 3 days, 4 days to dry. I say in that time of drying, it would just collapse on itself into one big mushy mess. So yeah, everything gets a framework in it, and obviously this big spaceship, definitely no exception. It's going to have a big framework in it. Just so that you can pick it up and it doesn't just fall apart or go wibbly wobbly in your hands, basically. Eddie Lego, the construction inspires you. Awesome. So by your name, does that imply you do things with Lego, Eddie? Because if so, have you seen my previous channel that I used to have before this one, where I used to make Lego animations? Haven't made one from, well, I think the last Lego animation I made was in lockdown 1, I think. What do I use for framework? Sprues. Yeah, literally sprues. Make like box frameworks. Yeah, make up a box so it's secure. And obviously, obviously the size of this, it's gonna be like a big box. So it'll have loads of supports going one way and the other way. Yeah, just loads of sprues. So this build is gonna be purely sprues, glue, and paint. Oh, I've just kicked my portable hard drive, which is the one that has the overlay on it, which is why the screen has got this black thingy. Right, then, right, it should pop back up. There we go. Yeah, I haven't got long legs, but they're still long enough to kick the box that has the overlay on it. Right. Oh, this music's gone a bit pants. The only problem about trying to get sort of like copyright-free music, it's never that exciting. Or you find one, obviously you can go on YouTube to find it, and obviously it says like streams for like 6 hours, which is great because obviously I want something that's going to stream a long time. To start off, obviously they put all their good music at the beginning to obviously entice you to like think, oh yeah, this sounds good, I'll listen to this. And then obviously you get like an hour or two in, and obviously all the rubbishy stuff starts coming out. And it's like, oh, this is a bit naff. Still animations. So there's been a few days since I last joined a live stream. Just a side note: have I checked out Barbarossa yet for weathering techniques? I haven't. No. No. Basically. If you think he's good, I'll go and have a little look at some stage. Although I'm not sure what weathering I will be doing for a while. Have I ever covered it with baking paper and rolled out the goo to make things go faster and smoother? What you're saying, Daniel, is how I used to, or how I make panels. This is basically a sheet of greaseproof paper, lump of goo, greaseproof paper, rolling pin, roll it out, and then it comes out like thin sheets like this. Is that what you're talking about? Because if it is, then yes, that's how I make panels. And so these panels are great because these panels can be used for making walls, buildings, floors, whatever you want. The only reason I'm doing the panels this way is because say this paneling isn't going to be, well, it's not thick. So if I go to pick this thing up, it could buckle or bend or whatever, which is why I'm making panels this way, because then these panels are going to be thicker. Because basically it's like a panel that's got framework inside it, which is obviously why this is going to be a lot firmer and stronger. Let's say because this build it's huge, it's enormous. Again, I'm going to keep bringing them out every now and then, but obviously the biggest thing I've made so far with Sprues is an Orc Stomper. And again, this guy's got a framework inside him, and then obviously it's then got panels of this glued to it, and then I get this stuff and cut it up into loads of smaller panels, and then sticks my my sort of sprue rivets onto it. So yeah, so this guy is obviously all sprues. But so yeah, this was my biggest build. but compared to the thing I'm making now, it's going to make him look minute. Just because it's going to be, I don't know, 10, 15 times bigger than him. I say it's the fact that it won't fit on my desk, or not as one whole piece, which is why I'm going to build it in 3 pieces. Going to build obviously the body first, just because obviously I want to build the body first, just because it's obviously the main looking bit. But I'm going to have it so there's going to be slits in the side, so when I make the wings, they basically slot in. I say because I'm not going to be able to build this and show it off on my desk because it's too big for my desk. So I'm going to do the centre panel first, then the left wing and right wing, whichever way I do it. And then when I assemble it all together, I'll have to film that. But obviously I'll have to film that, well, somewhere else because it won't fit on my desk. Or it would fit on my desk, but I would need to take off all of these little units. So yeah, they'd all have to go. And even then it would sit on my desk but overhang my desk. Yeah, it's huge. Smith a Day, found your channel about a month ago. Binge watch, awesome. That's what I like to hear. I like to hear people who binge watch my stuff. I say there's quite a few playlists. Click a playlist, let it run. Even if you're going out, somewhere, even more reason to click the playlist, go out. Again, it helps me out no end. YouTube loves interaction between people and obviously my videos, and you watching the playlist, obviously it loves because obviously it's keeping you watching YouTube basically. The videos are amazing. I learned so much and made a few things yourself. Awesome. Cheers for the content. Yeah, Smith a Day. There's a link in the description for Discord. Join that. It's free. But yeah, loads of people on there, obviously making stuff. Well, just making stuff. And yeah, you can go on there and post what you've made, and people can obviously have a look at what you've made. And yeah, let people know how you've made stuff, really. Obviously a great place for sharing. Sharing is caring and all that. Oh, can I try and stretch? There's a little gap. Can I try and get some and stretch it over? Rather than to get some more goo out. Yeah, fill that gap. Right, there we go. So there's one panel of, I don't know, 30 that I may need. But again, so that's why if you are making things with Sprue Goo, don't expect to be able to make something in one day. Just because, say, now I've done this one panel, I won't be able to use this for at least 7-8 hours. So basically that'll get put to one side. Obviously, I'll go on and make a few more panels. They'll get put to one side. Again, if you're using any kind of like silicone mould, again, I filled these up last night and 7-8 hours. I love 7-8 hours. That seems to be a good number generally. Obviously, say if you make something thicker, again, when I made the things in this, I made them so they're still quite thin. So I say thin, it's about 2-3 millimeters thickness. But if I'd filled this solidly, as in like put the goo in and then put it to the right top, even though the outside might be dry and firm, the inside won't, and it would stay soft for days. So yeah, whenever you make stuff with Sprue Goo, that's why generally I like to make it as thin as I can, otherwise it just takes forever to dry. And again, that's why making something like this, I mean, it's not big, but inside this there's a framework, only because to use this much goo, it would just take forever to dry. And I say, because it is like a soft plasticine, if you try to build this like that, it would just keep wanting to sag. Even if you laid it sort of like on the floor, it will still want to just sag and just grab. Basically, gravity is not its friend. It's just going to pull it down and it'll just go all over the place. So yeah, anything you build with this stuff, you do need to make some sort of framework, just so it dries quick and it keeps whatever shape you're sort of going for, basically. All right, more biscuit time, I think. Yep, Valtin, your question. I've made things before, and then obviously like all out of sprues, as in like the Orc Stomper. It's all made out of GW sprues. So a lot of people have said yes, it should be legal because it is a GW product. Because yeah, it's made from GW sprues. But obviously, I know this has always makes me laugh about the Warcraft, the Warhammer sort of community. There's those that obviously play the game because they enjoy it, and basically you could turn up with this, stick some wheels on it, stick an orc on top, and it'd be some sort of like orc battle wagon that accept it. But then you get some people that play the game and they're very strict on obviously all figures being from Games Workshop, no third-party figures, no 3D printed figures of any kind. And even some players that need everything to be painted, so you can't turn up with unpainted stuff. Obviously, this is what I've heard. I've not been to any games. So yes, I mean, even though this is 100% GW, as in it's made from sprues from Games Workshop, you probably would still get some people say, well, no, it's not legal because it's not been made by GW. But I think that's half the fun. That's even more fun to make something like this. Because I did make a video, I think it was the Orc Stomper, and I put on the thumbnail 100% GW legal. Just because when you do that, you do know you are going to get those people from both sides that are going to have a bit of a dispute over it, which is kind of good on YouTube because if people are disputing over something, it means they're engaging with whatever it is you've done. So I think sometimes you almost want to make videos that are, or you know, are going to appeal to people and annoy other people. But like doing a video on Marmite or something, you know you're going to get a lot of haters and a lot of lovers. Steve, when you build it and make one of your walking videos, take it with you. Can you imagine? Well, I could put like a strap or some sort on it. So I can just put it on like a rucksack. There you go. I can make this into a rucksack. That's funny. EJ95, I'm glad that I saved my sprues since the start, despite not knowing what to do with them. So again, if you have a look at my sprue playlist, so as well as all the big builds I've done, there are, I think there's 40 things to make with sprues that are like small, quick little things, ranging from little fire pits, walls, cobblestones. I think there's a tent. Obviously, general sort of like scatter terrain. There is some Warhammer markers I've made from sprues. I'm trying to think of all the stuff I've made. I've made so many different bits and pieces with sprues. Even I can't remember what I've made. But yeah, if you go have a little look, then yeah, there's loads of stuff. You can't complain about unpainted mods. You played games where models don't have arms. That's funny. But so that's, I see from the few comments that are there, yeah, everyone's got their own sort of feeling and thinking about the game, and obviously, I mean, I'm a great one. I love rules for games. Rules are rules, but I think sometimes there's an extent to how far you can take a rule, and that you can then like knock the fun out of it. But yeah, so it is kind of 100% GW legal-ish. Right. What should I do next? I know what I'm going to do. This is like what I'm saying about sometimes when I build something out of sprues, you have to almost spend a day making little bits So they then sort of like cure for the next day to actually do stuff with them. So for this dude, I want to make lots of, well, I say I'm not sure if they're going to be eggs or eyes. I'm still undecided. Well, eggs, eyes, or even poop. So obviously on the random generator thingy, these are the 7 images I got. Quite random, quite bizarre. But it's kind of working. The picture I've, again, excuse the, like the 3-year-old drawing, as in drawn by a 3-year-old. That's kind of what I'm building. Obviously, it doesn't look too scary there, so I'm hoping it's going to look a little bit scary because I'm going to make his teeth really sharp and all that. Yeah, so these sort of like eggy things that I'm going to glue to this sort of round base. Basically, I want to make loads of little balls now, so that come, like, say, tonight, 7-8 hours from now, they'll be hard enough for me then to be able to sort of glue on, and they'll stay in their ball sort of shape. So yes, I'm going to make some balls, basically. Oh, Tristan Ovick. Is it possible to make sprue goo with turpentine? I honestly wouldn't know. Yeah, no, I don't know, mate. If you've got turpentine, give it a go, and then go on Discord and let them know, because I don't know. I've never tried anything other than nail polish remover. Well, I say nail polish remover. Obviously, you need to make sure it is the acetone one, because you can get nail polish remover which is acetone free, which is obviously no good to us. But yeah, no, turpentine, I really don't know what that would do to it, to be honest. But yeah, now if you go and have a find out and let us know, that'd be cool. I mean, I would give it a go, but I don't have any turpentine. And I can't really afford to buy turpentine just to try it. Which is why, yeah, if you try it, if you've got some. Cool. Aisha, it's coming from the burger. Well, it's funny. Out of everything I've made, most of it I'd happily sell. There's only really two. There's only 2 things that I've made that I wouldn't sell. Funny enough, the burger is one of them. The burger and the wizard tower that I made from sprues. They're 2 items. Even though I wouldn't use them in anything. I mean, how would you use the burger? They're the 2 items that I've made that I really, really love. Again, that because it puts a smile on my face, and the wizard tower, just because I like wizards, I like towers. Well, it's an orc wizard tower. Again, it's in the playlist. Go and have a look if you haven't seen that. I'm like, yeah, guys, I've had this channel now. What is it? 14 months? I think almost 15 months. So there's a lot of videos out there. So yeah, go and check them all out. Just to say, it helps me out no end if you watch. Well, if you watch my videos, basically. Yeah. Sylvain, do you still need sprues? I do. I do. Yes, I've been saying for the last month or so I don't need sprues because I've got loads of sprues. This build that I'm doing, this tall manta, whatever it's called, it's going to use a shed load of sprues. So yes, I do need more. My email is in the description. So if you go down there, have a look in the description, you'll see my email. Drop me an email and I'll basically, well, let you know how you can send them to me, basically. You have a big box of cut-up sprues and years building scale models as a profession. Oh, wow. Yeah, no, that's the thing. With sprues, they don't need to be as... yeah, they don't need to sort of like look like that. They can look like this. Because obviously, I take these and turn it into that. We'll say, that's why I always cut out the centre bit. Because then these outer bits, obviously, I cut and keep as the long sprues, which obviously I can then use to make frames and other bits and pieces. All the inside bit, obviously, if there's like long pieces, then I'll cut them to keep them and keep them in there. But all the rest of it I cut up and it goes in here because obviously these are the ones that go into the jars of acetone to turn into sprue goo. So yeah, so I don't mind how the sprues come to me. And obviously if anything you can get more of these in a box. Because obviously when they're like this, obviously there's a lot of gaps. So you get less of these in the box. Because if you cut it up, into small bits, you'll get more in a smaller box. Or big box, depending on how much you got, basically. So yeah. So Sylvain, yeah, please, yeah, if you send me a message if you are able to send me them. Obviously, I am in the UK, so obviously for those that are abroad, again, I don't know how much it costs to send stuff, and I'm not in a position to be able to pay for any any sort of post and packaging. So it would be a case of you paying all of that, but for which I'll be forever grateful. And those who do send me sprues, in the video of me making this big build, you will get your name not so much mentioned. Well, I might mention it, I'm not sure. Either mentioned or it'll come up on the screen somewhere. And the same again for in the what's it called? In the description down below. As in, yeah, back down there again, guys. Back down there. There's also a section and a link, things that I need, and in there is, funny enough, acetone. Well, acetone, glue, and there's other bits and pieces. But if anyone buys me anything, again, you'll be mentioned in the video. That whatever it is that you buy gets used. But say at the moment it's definitely acetone I'm in need. Well, acetone, sprues, and glue, because I think this is going to use up a lot of glue. But yeah, got wrong? You're not wrong. That is a gorgeous sprue burger, and I love it. It's my favourite build. Andrew, can I just add sprue bits to a jar of goo? Yes. Yes, so as I was saying kind of earlier, I've got 2 bottles here that I'm kind of using. These were both filled up yesterday. That one was a brand new bottle, filled up with sprues. This one is a bottle that's been going now for about 3-4 weeks, and literally it's always got stuff in it. So like today, I'm going to use up all of this goo without a shadow of that. So all that goo will be used up, but it's still going to leave about 1 inch or so of acetone. So I just chuck more sprues in, or because generally I always have these bottles filled halfway with acetone, but I've now run out of acetone, so I need to order some more, which is why I'm asking if anyone wants to send me any. Lovely, but if not, I will buy some. But yeah, so say, I mean, this one, good example. So obviously the goo's at the bottom, there's still loads of acetone at the top. If I wasn't going to use this today, I could chuck in some more sprues on top of the sprue goo that's already there. Leave it again 8 hours, so I would do it overnight. Next morning, it's great. So this will then be up to here, full of sprue goo. So yeah, so you can keep adding bits in when you need to, but generally what I would do, because I know I'm going to use this all today, I wouldn't put any more sprues in this, because it then means I've got to wait 7-8 hours. So I would wait till I've used all this up, then put loads of sprues in. But I'm just sort of saying that if you wanted to top this up, if you weren't going to use this today, but tomorrow you were going to use it, then yeah, I would put loads more sprues in this, so it is fuller. So say that's why this stuff you never throw away. You never dispose of the acetone, because there's no need, because you're constantly refilling this thing up, whether you're putting more sprues in, more acetone, or a bit of both. And yeah, so the longest I've left a jar with this in was 7 weeks, and it still came out fine. Like now it'll come out really sort of like really smooth. If I left it 7-8 weeks, depending on where the acetone level is, if there's still loads of acetone in there, there's no reason this would be any different. But the one I left for 7 weeks, I think it only had a thin bit of acetone at the top, so it came out, but it was a bit thicker, but still as usable. So yeah, it's cool. So yeah, Andrew, just keep chucking more stuff in there, mate. You're going to set up a couple of goo jars. Well, I always have a couple. Yeah, just because well, they get used. So guys, anyone who's new or just joined, if you haven't hit that like button, please do so. It does help me out a lot. If you can share this video anywhere, it helps me out a lot too. And yeah, if you're new, subscribe. The other thing I will say, guys, obviously when you turn on the bell, I think there's obviously subscribe, turn the bell on, but there's different options. When you turn the bell on, you can be notified of all videos and all live streams, or you can do something else. if you go on there, if you can click the all one, just so you don't miss out when I come on. So I do know a lot of people don't get notified when I do a video or go live. So yeah, turn it all on the bell, please. Right. What was I going to do? Oh, make balls. That was it. Balls. So again, anyone who's just joined, I am kind of doing 2 builds at once at the moment, just because it's a case of you can only do so much with the goo, and then you got to leave it 7-8 hours for it to like harden. So I'm obviously making the towel manta. Is it towel or tool? Well, I'll just call it manta. Sylvania, guess what? You got mail. Awesome. Oh yeah, I can see there's one up there. I shall go click on that in a minute. Oh, there's loads on the other one. What's the other one? Oh, that's alright. What was I going to say? Yes, that's why I have a couple of things on the go, because then you can do something to one of them, and then you can put that to one side, let it do what it needs to do, work on the other one. Although that being said, I've got about 3 or 4 projects on the go, because this one, the Monster Bash one, isn't coming out to the end of the month, but I want to get it done sooner. And the manta, obviously that's going to be about a month, because there's so much to do on that. So I have got other things I'm doing, just because I like to do a video every week. But obviously this week I will be doing live streaming pretty much most days. Aisha needs to go. You subscribe, thank you so much. The washing machine is calling. Oh, bless. Well, you have a fun day. Thank you for being here. Yeah, I will see you soon. And thanks so much for the donation. Much appreciated. Cool. So we're making balls. Balls. So yeah, so again, quite often with this stuff, say because it doesn't dry for like 7-8 hours. In one way, that can be good because it gives you a lot of working time. And I say what I'm doing, I'm going to make. I say I'm not saying they're balls, poop, or they're going to be the eyeballs, but I'm making these kind of things, which are basically going to go all around this bit at the bottom. Because basically, I want this guy sitting on all those balls. So this bit here is just to obviously stick the balls to. So yeah, so with the balls, obviously you make loads of them, and then you leave them to obviously, well, start to dry. I'll have a go. See if that can make enough. But so when it first comes out, it's quite sticky, which is why don't touch it too much, because obviously it sticks to you. But say it doesn't take too long for it to sort of become less sticky. And I say the great thing about this is it is kind of like a plasticine, so you can treat it like plasticine. So my plan is to roll it out, and I'm going to cut it up into bits. So again, if I was making balls out of plasticine, this is what I'd do with that. Sort of roll it out, and then cut it up, and then roll each one into a little ball, basically. Although I would probably do this with my right hand, because I am right-handed, and doing it with my left hand feels really cack-handed. But I can't be bothered to get another glove out on this hand, so we'll just do it cack-handed. So this is kind of how I think I'm going to make the legs, just by rolling it out. Although I am going to have a frame, well, not a framework, but I'm going to do like, so for the legs of this, I'm going to make them out of obviously sprues as like a, like bones, and then obviously put this round the outside, basically. Like a tower, but taller, tall. Cheers. Well, I might just call it manta. Might be easier. Tall. Oh, so this is where it is. I do feel like cack-handed rolling it out with my left hand. So I might have to put my glove on, because otherwise it's going to take forever. Yeah, I'm going to put my other glove on, because when I try and roll these into balls, it's going to be a nightmare trying to do it with my left hand, because I'm not a lefty. So we'll do this. So that was just pull the bits apart actually. Oh wow, Thomas Plant, thank you so much. Love the content, keep up the great work. Cheers, Thomas, that is much appreciated. And it's funny, you've now made my decision easier on what size acetone I was going to buy. Because obviously, like anything, the more you buy or the bigger bulk you buy, the cheaper it works out. So cheers, Thomas. That is now going to buy me a 5 litre acetone thingy. So yeah, thank you so much. Right, is that going to be too big? That's a fun thing I'm saying, is that going to be too big? I'm making something up which is as random can be. It's going to be obviously a donut sitting on some eggs, or yeah, sitting on some eggs or eyes. Couple of long legs in kinky thigh boots with tail-like arms. So I don't think it really matters if this is the right size or not. I don't think there is. I don't think there is a right size. It's just whatever size I want to make it. But so I think I might go with my daughter's idea of making what it's sitting on be poop, just because obviously that makes it just funnier. But yeah. So yeah, so I'm gonna make loads of these kind of balls. Like I was saying earlier about you can't make things too big or too thick with the sprue goo because gravity will just put it down. These little balls already, they are starting to look like pancakes rather than balls. So what I would generally do with this is get them to the rough sort of size I want, and then maybe in an hour's time come back, re-roll them to try and make them more ball shape. Just gonna say, because they do stay soft for quite some time. Which again, in one way, it can be good for you to be able to make things, do things, and all that. But then other ways, obviously, it's not good because it means you've got to wait 7-8 hours before you can then go on to the next sort of progress or part of whatever you're doing. And I just thought I need to really be filming some of this. Again, I always film a lot of what I do. It doesn't always stay in the final video. Oh, my nose is getting more bunged up. I can't even talk now. Yeah, so all these balls are the sagging balls. Can't make it up, can you? So yeah, in about an hour's time, I would come back. So basically, when I do these, I'll have them sort of on the side of my desk, because otherwise, if I put them somewhere else, I'll forget about them. So yes, I'll keep them on the side of the desk, and then every now and then, I will re-roll them, basically. Yeah, so guys, say if you really are into sprue built things, yeah, go and check out my sprue playlist. There's a whole ton of stuff there, from big things that will take you, well, I think the Orc Stomper that's behind me, I think that must have taken about 40 hours. And that's 40 hours of actual sort of work. Because obviously there would have been more gaps in between where I had to wait for things to dry, basically. A few of these look like they've got a bit too big. Let's try and keep these little, say, balls, eggs, poop, keep them roughly the same sort of size. So again, like this stuff that I've just pulled out, even though I've only just pulled it out, I probably wouldn't put that back in the acetone, just because it probably won't dissolve as well as it should do. So I may as well make loads of balls. Again, yeah, because obviously I'm going to have this thing so it's kind of like feeding eyeballs into its mouth. So some of these might be used as the balls it's sitting on, and some might be the eyeballs that it's munching on. So, oh, I'm still filming. Yeah, so these smaller ones seem to be keeping their shape more. Again, because obviously this stuff's now been out of the jar for sort of 10 minutes or so, which isn't long, but it's long enough for it to start to sort of firm up a bit better. So say we'll go through and I'll re-roll these and then put them to one side, and then it is a case of just keeping my eyes sort of on them. Why not do eggs and rabbit-like poop droppings? They look the same. Well, so that's kind of why I'm still undecided. So it's a choice of 3 things it's going to be sitting on. It could be sitting on more eyeballs, because obviously it's eating eyeballs, so maybe it's just sitting on its pile of eyeballs. It might be eggs, because obviously it's given birth to eggs. It's sitting on them. Or it could be, well, the poop, because it's eating the eggs, eyes, and it's obviously coming straight out. So I think when I come to paint it, that will be the decision whether I paint it what kind of colour, or if it's going to have eyeballs. Alright. Cool. There we go. Loads of balls. So we'll make room so I can just stick that to the side, because I know if it goes too far out of sight it will go out of mind. There we go. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a go at making the candles. As I say, basically my Monster Bash generator random picture what's it thingy gave me these images. Obviously the main body is going to be the Homer Simpson donut. I'm going to obviously have some long legs. They've got that little boots, but I'm going to go one stage better and make it some thigh length kinky boots. Obviously the eyes is going to be eating loads of eyes. It's also going to have 1 foot on an eye, and then I think that can be like a dragon's tail, or it's a tail of some sort. But I'm going to use that as the arms, so it's going to have 2 of those as the arms. So yes, I'm going to go making the candle. Well, have a go. It's a simple candle. So that's one of the things I've made. If you have a look at my, so I've got quite a few videos that are like top 10 uses of sprues, and they're all small little things that you can do really quickly, really easily. And one of those is making candles, because one of the things you can make from sprues is wire. Now, if you haven't seen that, really simple. Get a sprue, get a flame, hold it over the flame, and as it's starting to melt, pull it. So as you pull both sides, you get a nice long thin sort of strand between it. So you cut that up, and there you go, there's a wire. But I also use that to make the wick that goes in it. So yeah, again, if you are into sprue builds, you need to check out all the ones I've done. I can take the glove off as well. Right. Yeah, my nose is getting bunged up more. So I've had this now 2 weeks. I've had this, and it is as annoying as anything. Obviously, I can't talk when I've got it. Normally, when you get a cold, you get like 2-3 days of feeling a bit like this. Then you might get 4 days of feeling absolutely rough as anything, and then another 2-3 days come out of it. Well, I've had this for at least 2 weeks. It's not getting any better, any worse. It's literally my nose is bunged up, but then sometimes it's bunged up and runny, which is even worse. And obviously, the more I talk, the more bunged up it seems to get. So when I stop streaming, within an hour or 2, I might be able to breathe through my nose, but at the moment, I can't. That's so funny, that is. Right, I am going to have another bit of chocolate biscuit. Good thing is I've broken up to loads of little bits. So it feels like I'm eating lots, when in fact I've probably only eaten 1 biscuit because I've broken it into bits. And I'm going to have a can of Diet Pepsi. Just because, why not? I'm going to put it in my favourite mug that my daughter brought me. She loves pugs. So she got me this. I'm sexy and I know it. Don't I just? Not really. Sexy pug. Daniel, is this full time? If not, what do you do? And how hard is it to do this full time? And I imagine it's pretty hard and requires a bit of luck to get popular. This isn't full time. I would love to do this full time. I'm actually a wedding photographer. But obviously, like last year, I was a wedding photographer with no weddings. And that's why last year, it was during the second lockdown of last year. I think it was, I think I started this channel July the 12th. Again, my memory is shocking, but I'm sure it was July the 12th I started this channel. And that's because it was lockdown number 2. I was getting bored as anything. Because normally during like June, July, August, I am chocker with weddings. I'm rather at a wedding or I'm editing a wedding. Either way, I'm just busy. But obviously last year, obviously not so busy because obviously all weddings cancelled. So that's why this year, most of the weddings I've done this year are rescheduled from last year. Which is why money's a little bit tight because I've not really earned much. So yeah, started this channel last year just to basically keep myself busy, occupied, and stop me from going mad, basically. And I like making things, or I used to love making things as a kid, like Blue Peter, Vision On. They were my things as a kid. I used to love watching them. So yeah, I've always liked making things, or did like making things. That's kind of what got me back into this. So yeah, so I've been doing it for a year. Obviously still doing weddings, but if this ever came to a stage where I could just do this, then yeah, I would love to just do this. But at the moment, I do need to do other things as well. So, there we go. Alan, you got to go? Oh, you've done well, buddy, being here, because I know you kind of like to work, aren't you? Work-related safety videos. Oh, wow. Yeah. Have fun with that, buddy. Cheers for being here. Yeah, so guys, that's why obviously I keep sort of mentioning about leaving likes on this, sharing it where possible, subscribing, tell all your friends, because yeah, because if this channel does grow to enough that I can do this full time, then yeah, I will be doing obviously a lovely job that I can do around my family, but still pays the bills, and I get to sit here, make things, and have chats with you guys, which is just kind of, well, the dream job, I guess, really, isn't it? Right, so let's have a little reshuffle of my desk. My desk is starting to get a bit messy. I don't like it. Right, let's not move the biscuits too far. Although there's only a few biscuits left, but that's fine. Let's have another one of these. Candles. Daniel, you're a chef at wedding functions. Oh no. See how much it sucks. Oh, you live in Melbourne, the place with the longest lockdown. Ah. Yeah, hasn't been a good 18 months for many people, is it? But as I always say, I'm very much one of these positive kind of people. I've still got a roof over my head. I've clearly still got food in my belly. So, as bad as things may have got, I'm always thankful for whatever I've got. So I'm thankful for that. That yeah, it has been tough, it has been rotten, I haven't earned money, but I've still got a roof over my head and I've still got food in my belly. So I am much better off than obviously a lot of people out there. But yeah, hopefully weddings are picking up again now, which is good. And I say, hopefully this channel does well. So with the candles, again, obviously when this video comes out, you'll see exactly what I've done. All I've done so far is take some long leather sprues, glue 4 together. Then my idea is to shave it down so it goes round, and then if I need to, I can add a little bit of the ooey gooey stuff just to make it look like the top of the candle where it like oozes down, where it's obviously melting. And then when I do my little trick of turning one of these into some nice thin wire, it's a case of poking one of them in the top and then putting a little bit of sprue goo on top of that to obviously make it look like the so you got the wick and then the flame. So again, everything on this build is going to be made from sprues. I think that's the reason why I kind of like making things with sprues, because when I do make something with sprues, I do make the whole thing with sprues. There's nothing else used apart from glue and paint. Just because then it's a nice challenge to just see what can be done with sprues. And that's why I say, if you look at my playlist of sprues, you'll see that I think almost anything can be done with sprues. I mean, in fact, I can make a TIE fighter out of sprues, and obviously the burger and the Orc Stomper. Yeah, sprues are pretty cool things. Right, so we'll film this because I have filmed me just gluing them together prior. So some of the things that I film aren't necessarily in the order you'll see them in, because obviously when I edit the video, cause that's why basically I don't talk over it. So when I'm making something, I film the whole thing, then I edit it together, cut out the boring bits. Sometimes I cut out bits completely where they're not needed, because you can tell what's happened. And then once I've done all that, then I'll rewatch it again, and I'll do the voiceover for everything, and obviously explain what I'm doing at that time. Which kind of works out really well, because it means I haven't got to try and talk over this now. Because sometimes I do get things wrong, and I forget things, or I stutter, or I and like this, I can film things out of order, but then when I edit it, I can put it in the right order, and then just say the voiceover over the whole thing just makes it so much easier, so much better. Andrew's in Canberra and still in lockdown. Blimey. Not good. So the good thing with these candles as well, they don't need to look perfect, because obviously the idea is they are, well, candles that are burning down and look a bit oldie worldy, sort of medieval candles. Cool. And again, all these bits that come off, they go in my little box of all sorts, and yeah, these will just go in the jar of acetone to be turned into ooey gooey stuff. Oh, pardon me. Have some of that. Just need to check something. That's what it was. Right. Cool. So yeah, I'm just going to do that with all of these. So there are sort of like gaps in between a little bit, so we'll get a bit of the ugu and just fill in that, just to help make them look a bit sort of more candle-like, really. I say, yeah, since I've been using like the sprue goo, it really does, or it really did open up more things that can be made with sprues. And again, going back to the playlist, the first thing I made with the sprue goo was the Great Unclean one. I made one of those out of sprues, which is pretty cool. I say this stuff really works well for Nurgles, because it does seem to sort of tend more towards, well, Nurgles and Orcs. Because as good as obviously the sprue goo is, and the panels, I mean, you can make them a lot flatter. These ones I rushed because I didn't need them to look good. But even when you make them perfectly smooth, they still might have a little bit of sort of like cracked looking. Which is why I say I think these work really well for panels and bits and pieces. For obviously scattered terrain where it looks like it's been derelict or shot at, or any kind of orc builds, obviously works really well. So that's why making this tall manta is going to be completely different, because obviously I need to make all the panels and everything just look super smooth. So yes, I'm probably going to stream till about 12ish. It's time now, 20 past. Yeah, stream till about 12ish even. I might stream again tonight. Just because there's so much to do. And I say, I think what I'm going to do now is whenever I am making something, I may as well live stream at the same time, really. If I get any guys, if you've got any questions you want to ask about obviously these sprue builds or anything that's on my channel, by all means do so. And if you can, in your comment, just put at miniature hobbyist, just because on my screen it highlights it that you're sort of asking me a comment as opposed to just chatting amongst yourselves, really. So I've got obviously links down below as well to all the places where I now sort of get stuff from. So yeah, I've got lots of new cutting mats that I got from a company called Graphics Direct. So yeah, if you're in the need for cutting mats or blades, I think they do all kinds of like sort of office stationery, as well as airbrush guns and well a whole variety of stuff really. So yeah, if you're in the need for cutting mats and bits and pieces, there's a link down below. Graphics Direct. Go and sort of have a look at their stuff. If you do buy anything from them, if you can let them know you came from me. I don't get anything from it, but it's just nice to let them know that it's from here, that you went there, basically. Does that make sense? Yeah, from here to there, from there to here. Does the live stream mess with the algorithm if it doesn't get matched as much as it is? So this is where I don't know. I know when I started doing these, the end of last year, because I started doing live streams I think in December and January, and when I did them last time, my views started going down something nuts. When I started this channel in July, my views went up and up and up from July to August, July to December, and I think one month I got my most was 700 and something thousand views in that month, and I was getting sort of like 400 subscribers a day at one point. But then come December, or the end of December, it's like YouTube just forgot about me, and since December my views have been going down. So even though it's really weird, so even though now I've got, was it 47,000 subscribers, I was getting more views per day when I had about 15,000 subscribers. So it was really weird the way it was going really well. I did a few live streams, but I don't think it was a live stream. But yeah, so my views sort of dropped. And then I didn't do live streams for about 6-7 months. And so my views have just been dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping. Started doing live streams about a week, 2 weeks ago. And my general views on my videos started going up. So, in a long way, to answer your question, I don't know. I love looking at the algorithms and analytics and seeing what's going on. But sometimes it doesn't always make sense because I'm very much a logical kind of person. I'm very logical, methodical, and I like to work my way through things in the right order. But when it comes to the algorithms and analytics of YouTube, it doesn't always seem to make sense in why things happen. And I say why the fact my channel was growing so quickly and then just died, and yet the content I was producing was exactly the same. I hadn't changed any format. I hadn't changed. I was even like doing videos at the same time on the same days, because that consistency seemed to work really well. I was still doing that. There was no real reason why my views all of a sudden went down, and then say about a month or so ago, I was hardly getting any views, and it was like it really was weird. But I know a lot of people did say that they weren't getting notified of my videos, which is why I'm always saying to people, check if you are a subscriber, please be a subscriber, obviously. Check the bell to check that it's, because obviously you can click on it, but it doesn't always show you everything. there's like several options. I mean, one option is all, which basically means whatever I do, whether it's live streaming or a video or a short or whatever, you'll get notified. But the other sections, I think they only notify you of certain kind of videos. So yeah, if you can check your bell, guys, uncheck it, check it, and then click all, so it notifies you of everything. Because again, that's the other weird thing is, when I put a video on, what happens in that first hour, 2 hours, kind of determines how that video then goes on to do for the next week or two. So in the first hour, if you get lots of views, YouTube obviously sees that as a great thing, interaction, all the rest of it. It then promotes your video for the next week or so. But if in that first hour you don't get many views, YouTube's like, and doesn't do anything more. So that's why it's a pain sometimes. Again, I think a lot of it at the moment seems to be, I know a lot of YouTubers have mentioned this in the past, that their viewers just aren't getting notifications that things are going on. So, but, yeah, and plus I think YouTube, it changes every now and then anyway, just to keep everyone on their toes. So yeah, again, long story short, I don't know if it affects it or not, but as I always say, I'm going to be sitting here building and doing stuff anyway. I've got everything set up now, so literally I can go on, push a few buttons, and live stream. So it's almost a case of there's no reason not to live stream unless I was sitting here as, I mean, I feel rough, but if I was really, really rough, then I could still sit here but have the face cam thing off. Because obviously I wouldn't want you seeing me as rough as, and you wouldn't want to watch me rough as. But you'd still be able to obviously hear me and see me making something. Which is why I say I'm going to be doing a lot more live streaming now. Just because why not? Because as I see it, it can't hurt the algorithms, because the algorithms at the moment aren't in my favour. So yeah. As I say, I do have fun doing live streams, having you guys there sort of chatting to. Even though I do start losing my voice a little bit sometimes. Right, so yeah, these are pretty much good to go. Yeah, I'm just going to fill them in a little bit. Oh, so let's keep using the one I've been using. Yeah, so it's time, 20 past. Yeah, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do one more panel. Oh, pardon me. And then I'm going to take a break. And I say I might come back on later on tonight. Because obviously I know there's obviously a lot of people that can't get on in the morning, especially that obviously if the Americans. Obviously if you're in America, obviously now it's like silly o'clock in the morning, and they'll obviously be asleep. So that's why I think I might do another one later on. Just to obviously, well, because I'm going to be building later on, so again, it makes sense just to live stream, really. So again, using the Sprue goo, it's a great filler, as well as everything else I kind of use it for. I do use it to like fill gaps. I say these are like candles, so they don't need to be too neat, because they are meant to be like sort of old medieval looking rustic candles that are obviously melting. So yeah, this kind of works well for that. That will do for one. I think I will film the next one of these I do. Cool. So yeah, making videos, you don't need much to make your videos on YouTube. So I'm using a phone, and I got one of those like desk arm thingies for it, which obviously for what I do is perfect because obviously it moves around. It can be kind of like out of my way, although it is almost hitting my head there. And yeah, obviously cameras on phones these days are pretty cool. So yeah, do all the filming on the camera, then obviously put it into my computer, get the software. I think I use Power Director, so it's a real cheap bit of software, as in like, I don't know, 15, 16 quid or so. So very cheap, easy to use, and yeah, it kind of does what I need it to do. So it is cheap and easy to make the videos. Obviously there's a lot of time involved in obviously making whatever I'm making, and the cost of anything that I buy obviously to use in the making. So I always believe if you want to make a YouTube channel, always do something that you really enjoy doing, especially if you want to do it like long term and try and make obviously money from it. Yeah, if you didn't do something you enjoyed, I think you'd struggle, because I say obviously my videos typically are anywhere between like 8 minutes and 15 minutes, seems to be like the norm. But also that 8 to 15 minute video that you guys see might take me 20 to 30 hours in building something, and then another sort of like 4 or 5 hours of editing. So it's quite a lot of work involved in getting one video out, which is why if you were just making videos to try and make money, yeah, it could be difficult. And obviously some channels within like a month or so of doing whatever they're doing, YouTube picks them up and blows them up, and then other channels kind of like plod along really slowly. And I think I'm sort of in the middle somewhere, because my channel did do really well to begin with, and obviously has slowed down now. But if it keeps on going the way it's going, I mean, who knows, in like sort of 6 months, a year, I might be in a stage where this might be my full-time job. But then again, I say this is where you just don't know. YouTube might again not like or favour me, and then it won't. My channel just like plod along. So then yeah, it won't really make enough money for me to do this full time. But yeah, always do a channel that you enjoy doing, whatever it is. Because even if I wasn't filming what I'm doing, I would still be doing what I'm doing, just because I enjoy making things. I enjoy painting things, and yeah, it's a fun hobby. And even more fun if you can share it with other people. EJ95, oh, you haven't got to bed yet and you're from the US. Night shift worker. Cool. As I say, it's really weird because the mornings I do seem to get more people watching, and they're from like all over the world. Whereas, like I always say, come the evening time when I do a stream, sort of like between say 7 and 10, I know most of the people watching are going to be from the US or generally the UK or parts of Europe. But yeah, the morning ones are fun because I do seem to get a lot of people just from all over, which is pretty awesome. And I say the morning ones are easier for me because like literally I do the school run, come back, sit here, nice and quiet. I can crack on, do what I want. Obviously do the live streaming. But obviously I can't do live streaming in the evening when I have my kids here because obviously, well, they'll have to be quiet, and obviously we all kind of know kids aren't very quiet. So Daniel can definitely tell you that the things that can be built with Sprue Part 1. Oh yeah, it's what started you on the journey to the channel. The paint holder. Yeah, again, that's probably one of the... Everything I've built, this is probably the only thing, obviously the simplest thing, but the only thing that I actually sort of use on any kind of basis. I mean, obviously the burger, you don't use the burger for anything. Stomper I don't use. Yeah, there's nothing I've built other than the paint holder that I actually use. As I say, this has got to be also one of the simplest builds there is, but it's probably one of the most practical, useful builds. And the fact that obviously a lot of people do have problems every now and then spilling their paint. So to have something that obviously keeps the lid open, you can knock it about. Obviously, if you give it a real good thwack, it would, well, anything would spill then. But yeah, you can nudge this, knock it, and slide it, and it won't spill. So yeah, Yeah, 10 things to do with sprues, part 1. Cool. Yeah, the simple paint holder. Awesome. Right, so yeah, I'm going to do another panel, and that should take me nicely up to about 12, give or take, and that's where I'm going to then take a break, basically, and well, basically I've got weddings to edit, obviously, so I need to crack on and get some weddings edited. Stuck together a bit. Right, so obviously I have to do what I did with the last one, which is cut off all the nibbly knobbly bits, and also there's loads on here. Yeah, I'm out of room. Right, so yeah, I'm going to cut nibbly knobbly bits off. Any questions, by all means, ask away. Otherwise, I'm going to have my head down and cut away. Hey, someone did ask me the other day about the snips that I use. I have had several before, because obviously I do cut up a lot of sprues. This is my 3rd pair, and this is probably the best pair I've had. Army Painter, although I think they are Army Painter. It's obviously rubbed off when I've held it so long, and these have been the best ones I've had. Certainly been the comfiest because I've got a nice big grip. I think the first pair I bought were very similar to this pair. Again, obviously got them off Amazon, but I think I went for the cheapest ones they had, and I think I used these for a short period, and then they broke. I had another one that was similar to this, but it had like a big spring that you could see on it. The spring broke, but yeah, these ones I've had. Ooh, I don't know. It's got to be about 8 months. 6 to 8 months. So I've had the challenges over a year. I think the first few pairs that I brought, well, the first pair probably lasted a while until I started doing things with sprues. Oh, pardon me. And then when I started doing things with sprues and obviously cutting up loads of sprues, it didn't last long. Then I bought another pair, and I think they lasted about a month, if that. But yeah, I've had these ones for a good 8 months, maybe more. Not too sure. So yeah, Army Painter cutters. I only mentioned that because someone asked me the other day. But they messaged me. Obviously, I messaged them back. But I just thought I'd mention that now that yeah, these seem to be the best cutters that I've had. Does it get blunt? No. I say these. Yeah, these still seem to cut as well as when I first got them. There doesn't seem to be any deterioration in the cut. Yeah, obviously this is the other reason why making things with sprues can be a long process. Just things like cutting nibbly knobbly bits can take quite a while. Let's try and cut that big circle off in the centre. My kid's going to help me cut the nibbly knobbly bits. I don't think I would trust him with these, as in, say, I've been cutting things for obviously nearly a year, but yesterday I cut myself twice. Once just by the thumb, and the other one there. Because basically, like I was saying earlier, when I cut the nibbly knobbly bits, say it's like a bigger bit, I hold it quite tight and quite near, just so the bits don't sort of fly off. And I've never cut myself before. I mean, I've been close several times. I've just felt it touch me. But yeah, yesterday, say, cut the thumb, that one hurt. Cut the bit there. And again, I mean, it's what? It's only about 4 millimeters wide. And probably only a couple of millimeters deep. But it bled. Oh, it bled for so long. Obviously, it hurt. But yeah, it's the fact that it just keep bleeding. Like, what? So yeah, I wouldn't let my kids do this. I don't even trust myself sometimes, especially after cutting myself now. So obviously these are rather sharp cutters. Yeah, so this is one of those parts as well. Sometimes it's not very exciting. Some of the parts when you're building stuff. And I say the fact that I'm going to have to make, I don't know, 20 or more panels. If not more. Yeah, so obviously there's going to be a lot of time cutting nibbly knobbly bits off. But hey ho, has to be done. Yeah, Lady Valentine, always the small cuts that hurt bleed worst. I say, yeah, it was unreal. I mean, that one hardly bled. Hurt, but didn't bleed. And then say that one is like, oh. Well, it's always weird when you cut yourself. I don't know you, but the initial feeling I have is, oh, I can't look because that hurts so much. It's going to be like a huge big gash. And then obviously you look, and once you can sort of like get rid of the blood and you can see it, it's like, huh? It's a minute little thing, but obviously when you first do it, it's like, oh, how big's that cut going to be? And I used to be really bad. I used to be really squeamish. I don't seem too bad now. Well, I say. But yeah, so you say that first thought of, oh, is this going to be like a big thing and going to need attention? And then you look and think, nah. So when it obviously heals, can't even see anything. Paul Bromley, do I ever sell stuff I make? Funny enough, I haven't, but I am, because the Orc Stomper, gosh, is being sold. I don't know if he's still on here. He may have gone off. A guy called Steve, I believe, is buying this little chap. Yeah, some of the stuff is for sale, but it's that problem is I don't use eBay or anything, and obviously some of these bits are obviously quite big. I mean, he's not very heavy. I don't know how heavy the real one is, but this one's not really heavy, but obviously it's quite big. So posting things is more the issue. And as I say, as much as I want to sell the stuff, I don't really want to have to get into the whole having to go out and buy packaging, boxing, work out the costs of the postage and packaging and all that sort of stuff. So yeah. That being said, this manta that I'm building, I am going to try and sell that. Purely because the size of this thing, I've got nowhere to keep it. I mean, I haven't got enough room to keep this stomper, let alone anything else. I'm in a one-bedroom flat. I've got loads of stuff on a shelf over there that I've built, and there's basically no room over there. But saying that, even this manta thing wouldn't fit on that shelf. So this manta, basically, the rough dimensions of it are, what did I say, 860? I've lost it. Yeah, so this manta is 860 millimeters tip to tip, and then front to back 630 millimeters. So basically it's not going to fit on my desk, which is why obviously I'm going to break it down into 3 parts so I can build each part on my desk. So each part is still going to be big on my desk. So yeah, so this manta thing I'm building, this will be for sale. But again, I'm not sure how I would do that because of the pure size of this. Even to post it in the UK is going to cost a fortune. So I'm kind of thinking if I do sell this, it would probably be to someone who could probably drive to where I am and pick it up. Yeah, because imagine this in a car. This is going to take up the back seat of a car. So I don't know. I'm hoping I can sell this, because if I can't sell this, as much as I'd hate to say it, I'd probably have to bin it because I've got no room. But anyway, that's a long way off because, again, it's going to take me at least 3-4 weeks to build this thing. Which is why I say I am doing, obviously, other projects with this. Otherwise, I'd have no videos coming out. I like to get a video out every week, basically. This is almost done. You like the terrain and scenery that I've done. Daniel Mayfield asked the Sprues said us to cut them before they send them, but they still include nibbly nobblies for the goo. Yeah, so it's good. I've already I've got 4 emails already. People sending me stuff, which is awesome. So I've had quite a lot of emails over the last 3-4 months. People are obviously a big collection of Sprues, like my videos on what to do with Sprues, but just obviously don't have the time to make things. As I say, that Orc Stomper, about 40 hours of building time, and that's not including any of the sitting waiting for things to sort of dry. That is like 40 hours of me with all the bits, gluing, sticking, rivet making and all the rest of it. So yeah, so a lot of the builds do take a lot of time, but that's why again on my my playlist for things to do with Sprues, there are a lot of smaller things to make with Sprues that you can do in like half hour, an hour or whatever. I think this is almost ready to stick down. Yeah, cool. Yeah, definitely finishing at 12 because I need to go for a tinkle in a minute. So I'm going to hold on, get this glued down, start to fill it with Sprue goo, and then I'm going to finish. But I think there's a very good chance I will be live streaming again later on. I might do sort of like 6. Yeah, I might do 6 to 9. Yeah, I will see. All depends on how well I get done with my real work. I say I would love this to be my real job, but at the moment it's not. Yeah, so the only reason I'm putting glue down is because if I start filling this with the Sprue goo, it might start lifting up. So just by putting a bit of glue in the corners, keeps it all down really. The glue I use is a nice cheap one from Amazon. It's just called Super Glue. It's £3.20 for 50 grams, and then I buy them nozzles separately. And yeah, glue's pretty good. I mean, it takes 5 to 15 seconds, so it's not like the really sort of like super glue that as soon as it touches something it sticks. This does take, well, 5 to 15 seconds, which in some cases is good because it gives you that little bit of error in when you're putting something together. You can then move it quickly. And yeah, I think it's because it's cheap as well. Again, I like value for money, and say £3.20 for a big pot, as opposed to the super glue, which is like £5 for a small tube. But yeah, Nafi likes the burger. Everyone likes the burger. I should just have that in the shot all the time. It's almost like a conversation starter, especially for those that are new to my channel and haven't seen the video of me making said burger. Yeah, because I really like that, and that didn't get as many views as a lot of obviously my other videos. And I know a lot of you guys are probably here from like Warhammer sort of games, so you want to see terrain and vehicles. But yeah, I thought comical value that would get a lot of views, but it didn't really. So yeah, if you haven't seen it, go and check out the Sprue burger. Or like I said before, if you're going out anywhere, guys, obviously on your TV or your computer, stick on my Sprue playlist and just let it run. Let it run while you're out, because it will do me the no end of good. No end of good? The world of good. I was going to say, this is why I need to finish soon. My brain's going a bit doolally. Smith a Day used a Citadel glue. Just wondered if cheaper was the same result. I've never used Citadel glue, so I can't really compare the two. I can only go by my general knowledge of glue, which isn't all that great. It does the job. Again, when I glue the bits together, sometimes you have to hold it, 5 to 15 seconds. So you do have to hold it for a little bit, but then once it's glued, it's glued. And I say, the fact that this was like £3.20 for 50 grams is pretty good, because a lot of other glues are obviously a lot more for a lot less. So cool. The Sprue burger is a cult classic. It is a classic. I think it's awesome. So I will be making fries to go with it one day. Obviously not just yet, because obviously I'm keeping all my sprues for the manta. But yeah, one day I will make the fries and the shake size-wise to fit with that. So yeah. Right, guys, I am going to finish there. I'm not going to put my gloves on and start doing this, because I want to start doing this and sort of finish doing it, but I desperately need to now go to the toilet. Any last questions quickly before I do pop off? I say there is a very good chance I will be back later on this afternoon, evening. I say I want to spend a good sort of 5 hours or more editing some weddings, but then I will be back, like Arnie. I'll be back. All right. So let's have a quick look over here. So yeah, guys, go and have fun. Have a great day, afternoon, evening, night, whatever it is where you are. Again, I know I keep saying it, and it is cheeky, but I always believe if you don't ask, you don't get. If you are going out or you're not doing anything and you're on a computer, open up another web browser, stick on one of my playlists and just let the thing run. Because it does, honestly, it will help my channel out so much. And who knows, in 6 months to a year's time, if someone asks me, am I doing this full time? I'll be going, yes, I am doing this full time, and I love it. Because that is, I wouldn't say it's my dream, because obviously it's not been my dream from like a kid, but it's certainly been, well, a possibility, a reality that this could be my full-time job one day. Which would be awesome. Right, so I am going to try and click on a few things to close the stream down sort of gracefully. So we'll stick that one on first, so you now can't see me. So I can pull faces and stick my tongue out and no one knows. And I shall always also do that one. No, that's not gone right. Where's the other one? Oh, there's mate. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Right, guys. Thanks for being there. I've enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed it too. I am going to be live streaming all this week, really, because I've got a lot to do. And it's all pretty much going to be, obviously, Sprue related. Don't forget, roll the balls. Yes, cheers. Yes, Sylvain, I will roll my balls. Thank you very much for reminding me. Right, guys, have a great one. Enjoy whatever you're doing. And I'll speak to you all later. Okay, bye for now.